That's a big move up in the market. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That is your girl, Adair. You can't see her, but she's there, I promise. I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. We already have the OG Darwin, Mr. Havana Woody. We got the world's greatest moderator, Bears versus Bulls. Hold my beer live action, he says. Shout out to the Havana Woody again. FFTB, we got Botrix, we got Benson, we got Pitchbull, Vic, yeah, Novak, my main man, Adam DeLuce, Jeremy Newman, Chef Joe, Cesar Sandoval, we got CompuCare Team 1320, we got also Gorev, Profit Monsters. I like that. Let's go Apple. I like that. 420 Bud Monster. A couple of monsters back to back there. Who is this? Sean Katina trade? We got David Mansour. What's up, my man? We got Royal Dixon, ACK, and Jason Ryan joining us as well. Mary Lyman. Welcome to Mary. Thank you for joining Adira and I. We got Susie. We got Oscarito, and we got Mike Walter. Dan, the dang man, Emmons, shout out to him as well. A big smile in there as well. We got Oliver, we got Alton, and we got Atif. What's going on, Adair? How are you?
I'm great. How are you this morning, Sharif?
Cannot complain. Everything's good. It's a nice Tuesday morning. Humid. And then a couple of words after that outside.
I figured I know what words you're talking about.
You know exactly what I mean. Went on the little walk there, but everything all good. All right, so a little volatility coming in there right at the start of the show. Or volatility. You want to cover that before we start?
No, you can go with that. I just wanted to make it fun.
Yeah, right. So we were moving up big there. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Apple did break the for whatever reason, 2820 was a bit of a local resistance level, basically taking us to 1030, waffling between that 228 and 22820, and then we got a big boy breakout. But it wasn't just Apple on its own. It was the Fuge. It was NVIDIA. Meta has a topping tail candle as well through 524. So we're going to keep an eye on all this stuff for you and obviously cover any new headlines that are coming in right now. So here's the look right now at the futures as we do reclaim that 19650, putting in a bit of a high there, 19694, knocking on the door of 197, looking to possibly get long. Apple back at the high of day. Something's afoot here. I don't have anything new on Apple to account for any midday moves here, but as soon as we do get it, we will let you know. Apple just printed another high day there, so keep your eye on that. I have plenty of small cap gappers to talk about. Sadly, none in triple digit territory today, but day two for my main man Polestar. Go baby go. So this one got up to $1.14. I'm happy about this one. I told you guys I had a lottery ticket on this one. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I'm involved in it. It is on my personal account, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Anything you want to cover, Adair, before we start?
Yeah, I mean, I know, guys. I know. I want to say it. Okay, if Eli Lilly's above a milli in volume and we have a catalyst and it's in my playbook, I'm going to be trading it. I just want to tell you guys that right now so we can get all of, like, I know it's not a day trade stock. My thing is, though, is I definitely got a little bit tilted last time because I had a great setup on Lilly, took it the first time, didn't work out, managed it appropriately, went to get back in the second time and then didn't because I was like, oh, it's not a day trade stock. Insert small violin. Yeah, that's it. Adara, why are you doing that? If you like a ticker, go for it. That being said, Lilly, I was telling Sharif, I was watching the book on Lilly all morning. Shout out to Wayne and Obi and some of the guys back there. They're all kind of saying if you want to see sometimes how things are going to set up throughout the day, watch how it moves on open. Open, I was watching Lilly. We get to 962. We hard push into 962. And then, or sorry, it was 966 we hard push into. Then we get down as low as 957. So we dropped $9, okay, right? But that range in between at that 962, I'm obsessed. I tried to short up 962 because I said to Sharif, like Sharif and I were both like this, you know, kind of a weaker looking ticker. Risked into 964 has got out exactly according to plan. To be clear, I am saving all of my risk today if I see stuff I like on Lilly or SMCI.
I like
if I see anything really high probability before that, I might trade it. But honestly, like the main looks here, Lilly, SMCI. Microsoft 413, vaguely interesting to me, but not at all in the same degree, not to the level that would make me want to use my risk. So that's what's happening there for the Lilly one. And if you hear me shouting about Lilly, that's why. Also, yeah, SMCI, definitely interesting as we get back to that 550 level. We're going to talk about that later, though, because right now we're going to cash flow into this lesson, the money flowing.
Yeah, I miss seeing that commercial on CNBS because he would always go, flow. Anyway, I'm a fan. So we're talking about the money flow index today. We're continuing with the theme we started yesterday about talking about momentum oscillators. We start with a couple of obscure ones that we haven't heard about. I don't think too many of us talk about rate of change. Not too many of us talk about the money flow index. I prefaced this one where I submitted it to the NOS boss yesterday as a way to gauge the rotation trade. He responded by saying it was a good index, or sorry, a good indicator to use for that, as well as volume. And we're going to talk about the overlap, obviously, between the money flow index and volume. A lot of overlap between them. So put your listening hats on right now. Let's get started. As we always do, just explain everything in layman's terms. The money flow index, what is it? So the money flow index, as I alluded to, is a momentum oscillator that basically measures the strength of buying or selling pressure in the market. Buying or selling pressure, that's what it's gauging. So unlike other momentum indicators like the rate of change, the RSI, and some others that focus primarily on price, MFI takes into account both price and volume. And there's a heavy weighting for volume, so we're going to get into that. So here it is basically. I just wanted to show it to you so you guys get the idea of what it is and how it's displayed on the chart. So you have the price action up there, and as we typically do, we have our indicator at the bottom. So you'll be able to see 80 is above the overbought area, and then 20 is the oversold. Kind of like that 70-30 that we have in RSI, but we'll get to that one in a hot second. The calculation for my math nerds out there of the money flow index, I didn't mean you, but I know you're a math nerd, self-professed, by the way, math nerd. The MFI is calculated using a 14-day formula that considers both the positive and the negative money flow. Positive money flow occurs when the closing price Positive money flow occurs when the closing price is higher than the previous period's closing price, and while a negative money flow happens when the closing price is lower than the previous period's closing price. Simple to understand, a lot more difficult to use. Here's what the actual formula is IRL for my math nerds who may want to use it to derive other formulas. There it is. Not like you can find it on its own, but I thought I'd make it a little bit easy for you. That's the calculation. Doesn't really concern us too much because the computer's doing all the calculation for us, okay? So how do we interpret the data coming out of the money flow index to use for trading? What's the move here? So much like the relative strength index and some other momentum oscillators, we have levels of overbought and oversold. So let's talk about those and how to use MFI to gauge overbought and oversold. So typically, the MFI, is typically considered overbought above 80, like I alluded to, and then oversold below 20. However, these levels can vary depending on market conditions. We're not gonna belabor that point. But we can also use it for divergence, much like all the other indicators, like looking for price action, RSI divergence, MACD price action divergence. We can do that same move with MFI. So when the MFI diverges from price, it can signal a potential reversal. Now we know from previous lessons, we have bearish reversals and bullish reversals depending on what the price and the MFI are doing. For example, if you make higher highs on the price, but lower highs on the MFI, bearish reversal possibly incoming. You want to go? Yeah,
let's talk about Stonks here. Thank you very much to Stonks.com for sponsoring this portion of this here show. You want a chance to win $1,000 every day? Stonks.com is giving out $1,000 daily, and entering is super easy. Just predict the stock price after the earnings report. Today, we're looking at Box. All it takes is 30 seconds to join. You just have to go to stonks.com, sign up, and hit that make the prediction button. And you could potentially win $1,000. It's that simple, guys. Each day, you get one free ticket to predict. Do you want more chances? Well, all you have to do is share your referral link, and you could get 5 extra tickets for each sign up. Go to stonks.com, don't miss out, and good luck.
Thank you to stonks.com, our awesome sponsor there. And you know, Adara, like I gotta love the name, man. Like they really put it on the nose there with the name, right?
Stonks, I like it.
Right? No, Elon used it. Even.
It's dope. It's dope.
All right. So back to the lesson, guys. So 2 ways to use the MFI, you know, just from a really basic perspective. We're looking to gauge overbought and oversold conditions with respect to 80 and 200 on the MFI. And then we can also use price action MFI divergence. That's how we typically interpret, in a very basic way, the money flow index. Okay, now let's talk about using it for trading. But before I do that, let me show you here. This is kind of the gauge. So when you're below that 20, you're oversold. Above 80, you're overbought. But this chart also shows price action MFI divergence. Here, the case that I was making earlier, the price action making higher highs. What's going on up there? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Fabian. Fabian. So this one, basically, the price is making higher highs here. And then the MFI says, I don't feel like making higher highs, makes lower highs. Then we can kind of gauge the fact that the winds of change may be coming on the price action and that we may retrace. And that's exactly what happens over here. You know, the price makes higher highs, the MFI makes lower highs, we end up tanking. Conversely, the MFI here started making higher lows. The price, though, continued to make lower lows. Look what happened. We defended 28, and we weaseled our way up into the previous high there at 33. So these are the two ways from a very simplistic perspective to gauge overbought and oversold, as well as price action, MFI divergence. Let's talk about some other, though, possible utility for this ticker, okay? Using MFI for trading. So I kind of already gauged the overbought, oversold move here, but it's also good to confirm trends. Now, this might seem like, you know, super basic. Okay, Sharif, the MACD is moving up. So is the price. What am I getting? Well, to be honest with you, it's not always price action indicator divergence that we're looking for. Sometimes we're looking for price action indicator convergence because you want to see that they're on the same page, especially if there are other indicators that are pointing that same way. You don't necessarily want to see a conflicting picture. So we're not always looking for divergences here. So it can confirm the trend, and I'll show you what that means in a second on the chart, as well as obviously we already talked about the divergences aspect of this. Now, here it's basically, yeah, this is basically the higher lows on the MFI with the lower highs when the price action was going down and the higher lows when the price action was going up. The reason I included this is just want to make the point that it's not always divergence that we're looking at here. So we talked about the rate of change yesterday, so I want to include a quick slide to make some comparisons between the money flow index today and the rate of change indicator that we talked about yesterday, both of which, as you know, are momentum oscillators. So they fall within that same group, under that same umbrella. Both MFI and ROC, or ROC as Adair called it yesterday, as I said, are momentum indicators, or oscillators, excuse me, that can be used to identify overbought and oversold conditions, as well as gauge potential reversals like we talked about with price action indicator divergence. However, there are some key differences. So the focus. MFI focuses on both price and volume, while the rate of change only and exclusively looks at the price. So if volume is an important indicator, and I would submit to you in most cases it is, you really need to be focusing a little bit more on MFI. The calculation, though, for the two are obviously different. They're different indicators. The MFI is using a 14-day formula that considers both positive and negative outflows, as well as, while the ROC is basically based on a percentage change in the price over a specified period. That period, as we talked about yesterday, is N period. And the N period here is to make that, you know, customizable so that not everybody has to use the same duration. Everybody trades differently from different windows, and the N part of that rate of change that we talked about considers that. Last but not least, the sensitivity of the money flow index. It's more sensitive to volume changes, obviously, because it takes into consideration volume, and ROC doesn't. The ROC may be more sensitive, though, to rapid price changes. So, you know, if you're really seeing a move up aggressively in price, unaccompanied by that move up in volume, not typically a formula we see, maybe here the rate of change is the better indicator to use, while if you're getting that big boy volume and that big boy price up, the MFI probably a better use there. Confirming. Oh, yes. Okay. So now we want to talk about the money flow index and its relationship, excuse me, I just have to get my water, with the volume, because it heavily takes into consideration volume. So we're going to talk about some strategies to use the money flow index in conjunction with volume to base trade. So let's talk about that. Here are some strategies. The first one we're going to talk about is combining MFI signals. So in this particular case, we want to look at divergence. If the MFI, the money flow index, is indicating to you an overbought or oversold condition, but the volume is high. Again, underline, the volume is high. It could suggest the trend is likely to continue. So the volume is operative here. However, if there's convergence, if the MFI is indicating an overbought or oversold condition, but the volume in this specific instance is low, again, volume here is very operative, it could suggest a potential reversal. So you really need to keep one eye on volume and the other on MFI. Now, identifying these accumulation and distribution zones using the money flow index, another way we can kind of combine MFI with volume. So we've talked about Wyckoff's accumulation and distribution. We did an entire week on that. This is one of those tools that we can help gauge accumulation and distribution. When the price is declining, but the MFI is rising, it could indicate accumulation. This suggests that buyers are gradually accumulating the asset. And that's what we know that big money does. Sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, the big money players, they're typically accumulating when the price is quite consolidated. Distribution, we can gauge it for that as well. So when the price is rising, but the MFI is falling, it could indicate distribution. In this particular case, it's suggesting to you that bigger money sellers are gradually selling their positions there. And you can use it to set trade targets as well, right? So your volume-based trade targets are awfully important. Based on the volume accompanying the breakout or breakdown, traders can set price targets. For example, if a breakout occurs on high volume, the target could be the previous high. So keep your days on the keep your eye out for the days with outsized volume. You can use them as price targets. And managing risk, you can certainly use volume-based stop losses. So traders can use volume to set dynamic stop loss levels. For example, a stop loss could be placed a few ticks below the previous low on a day with low volume. So keep that in mind as well. So in conclusion, the money flow index essentially is a valuable tool for technical trading. It provides insights into the market's momentum and potential trading opportunities. By understanding MFI and its relationship with volume, you can get a better gauge on what the market is trying to tell you there.
Yeah, right now, all I'm trying to have the market tell me is honestly, guys, I would love to say I've done anything other than watch the Lily spread, but that would be a lie. And we don't lie here on Trader TV Live, though the word lie is, I guess, kind of in the name if you say it out loud. Not the point. I'm waiting for something on Lily here. What I'm waiting for is a 961.20s break. Is that a highly specific level? Absolutely. Why do I like it? Look how many times we closed here. Now, I like 962s. I talked about watching the book at 962 was deeply fascinating to me. It was a support resistance level in between this wider range that, in my opinion, existed. In my opinion, I stand by my opinion. I watched the book, okay? 957 to 966 was deeply spicy on Lily. We bid up aggressively into 966. Can we hold it? No. The market dropping. Okay, guys. I'm getting ready to punch short here on Lily. The second we get near that 961 level. Also, I said other than Lily and SMCI, which is also at near my 520.52 level, the only other things I'd be looking for would be high probability trades. I like Tesla. You guys know I used to scalp Tesla book a lot more frequently. I still have the book up, but I took a quick cheeky Tesla scalp long here, took 10 cents. It was cool. It was fun while it lasted, and then it ended. Lily, are you ready for me, Lily? Okay, we're getting close, Sharif. We're getting close. The second I see that ask drop, emphasis is important, guys. Enunciation is important. The second the ask drops below that 961.20 level, someone's going short. You're looking at that someone. If we can't drop below that level, that's fine. Then I know support's there for the long. And the second we break above that 965, we break that sequence of lower highs, then I'll go long. I have plans either direction, but something in me, every time we fail to break decisively into that 465 area, even to 464.50s, something in me is telling me, Dara, wait for the short. That's what I'm trying to do here, guys. Also, I was joking to Sharif this morning too. I was contemplating listening to Travis Scott this morning on my way to work. And I was thinking, it's interesting because I am in kind of a unique position that I think I've pretty much only ever traded in front of people. I pretty much only ever traded here, right? And so I think when you're trading in front of people, and like I said, I'm immensely grateful and I feel a lot of gratitude. I'm in this very unique scenario where I've had my entire journey in front of this awesome community. But also I think sometimes it leaves you with a little bit less introspection for yourself and for your own trading journey. And that's why I said I went back on the sim yesterday to trade for myself. I was prepared to go back a little bit longer, but I'm happy I went back live again today with this Lily. Let's see what's happening. Kyle Burdett, $5 super chat. Drop that ask, hashtag spread hunter, get down. Yeah, instead of TED Talk, maybe we'll give a spread talk sometime and how I view the spread. But yeah, that's what I'm waiting for here in Lily. I saw someone though pretty excited about that NVIDIA. I love those triangles, Sharif.
Yes.
Let's hear about them.
Yes, I got in at the 10 exponential. We're gonna see if it bounces here. I gotta tell you, I actually want to take Apple instead, but I was looking at NVIDIA. I said, no, the one that I'm setting up for is a 10 exponential retracement on NVIDIA. I already took a little bit of a beak wetter there into 50. We'll get out if it breaks 18. So we're in it right now. NVDA already profitable on it. Shout out to Big Spile. Thank you for that super chat. The break of 18 pennies gets me out, but I'm looking for another possible move higher here on the monster NVIDIA. If we get stopped out through 18, that's going to be the end of the trade there. It's strong. It's up 1.5%. It's very much respected, the 10 exponential on the 5, but that doesn't have to happen forever and ever more. So we're gonna have to pack our patience here. I'm looking for a hold up at the 10 exponential. We'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. Already profitable on it anyway. So what else is the move? I'm also looking for another move down there on Apple. Possibly, well, this one was a nice entry, and I was trying to decide between this one and NVIDIA, and I chose NVIDIA. But this one also at the fifth. Or sorry, not the fifth, the third of a dollar, 128 and a third. We were whiffling and waffling in and around that area for the better part of almost an hour, I think, from around 10:20 till when we broke it here at 11. So 40 minutes. We defended that 128 and a quarter, 128 and a third, or rejected, I should say, 128 and a quarter, 128 and a third. So I'll be looking to get in there on Apple. Now, I'm interested in some shorts too. Amazon seems to me very short primed at the moment. So does Tesla. So Amazon over here, very much respecting the 10 after this outlying move. This one broke the 10, the 20, and was in between the 50 and the 20. So I didn't have an eye on Amazon when it moved into this 174 area, likely a rejection off the whole dollar. But it's been very consolidated, or not consolidated, but very respectful of the down move on the 10 exponential moving average. So we'll see if we can get involved with that. Tesla as well, looking short on TSLA. So this was awfully weak, obviously, for 216 or 215 and 2/3 all the way down into 207, high 206s. Now it's been kind of using the volume weighted average price at around 210 and a fifth as its level in the sand. So we'll see if Tesla can change its tune. But right now, I got to tell you, I'm looking short on both these names. Still involved in NVIDIA, looking for a move into 129.
Yeah, I will say for Tesla, that 210 area, it's very wiffle-waffly. I had like a 10-cent scalp on that. And honestly, I think that was like, you didn't get much more than that. That was a very, very tight move there on TSLA. So I definitely see what you mean there. Some of these names looking to give up. Lagos. Lagoolsby, who's not speaking today, but I wanted to make a pun.
Anybody speaking today?
No.
Okay.
Tomorrow we have Waller.
Got it.
But also sometimes I've noticed lately, like all in the morning, I'll write all the stuff for the second stream. Shout out to Morse Trader TV. I'll write out everything. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, 40 more Fed speakers. I'm like, where were you when I was writing this? Like, where'd you come from? So a little bit inconsistent. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not in any positions right now. But I have my eyes on Lily.
Okay.
And my thing is, I know, you could look at other stuff. I'm aware of that, and I'm telling that to myself too. But to me, like that Meta 522 breakdown, nice short. Shout out to Joanna Brewster. Sounds like you were involved in that. SMCI also came, and I'll pull up SMCI for a bit because that's another.
Smicky.
Yeah, get it, Smicky. Smicky, I liked 552. Look at that 552. I like the potential 552 rejection, but honestly, given all these bottoming tail wicks, I would kind of need us to be decisively below 552 and retest before I got involved in that short. To me, that is a bit lower probability than my look on the Lilster, as I've heard Sharif sometimes call Mademoiselle there. So my thing with Mademoiselle, and the reason I haven't punched short is, like I said, look at how many times we either close at a wick basis or we've got the candle here at 961, 19s or 20s. I know that's highly specific, but that's a level I like. That being said, we're creeping up on the bid in a way that, as I've said, I usually find to be really bullish. Like we were at 961.35 for the longest time. Then we get 961.36s. Now we're 961.46s. Now we're 72s. I apologize for the continued TED Talk, spread talk. I don't know. But you know what? Like, I think there's different types of traders in the chat and different types of traders in this community. What I love that, you know, Sharif and I, we trade very differently from one another. We trade differently from what you're going to see with the big kahunas. So if we can provide kind of any value there to anybody trading these spreadier names, because I know we do have some of those traders in this chat, I would love to be able to provide that. So let's see, like I said with Lily, no short for me and Lily till this ask gets below 961.20. So I want to see her drop it low. I want Lily to drop it low here for me. I can be a little cheeky, but that could be a little bit of fun. Why not? Within reason. Let's see if that ask can get down here. I'm emphasizing, enunciating to 961.20. If I see that, all bets are off, Lily. To the downside, I want blood, I want smoke. I'm risking it to 962s. Really tight R&R for Lily, which I think can give me minimum 957s. But you can get a lot more than just the minimum on Benzinga Pro.
Adara, I have questions. Are you tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in the market? Are you missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news?
Not with Benzinga.
No, I like it. Yes. Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? I know I am. Visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. Arsenal officially signed Mikel Mourinho. Oh, baby.
Such a transition.
Because I got it on my watch.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
Yes, this is the kind of player, Adair, we couldn't get previously because we didn't have the project that the players wanted. Now we've got it, and now they're coming. So I couldn't be more
I'm going to smile
pleased.
and nod.
Yeah, just go with it, Adair. So I'm out of my NVIDIA trade. I did quite well is a relative term. I took 25 pennies here on the retracement, Fabian, into the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and then we weaseled our way up into that 2/3 of a dollar, and I got out there. It did come back in to test that 128 level, so there was an official breach of the 10 exponential on the 5, and as I look at it now, all I see on NVDA are 4 successive lower highs and lower lows, one of which is breaching as we speak, the 10 exponential on the 5. There is this area here that I'm very alert to, and it is between 127.50 to 127.75. It was a bit of a consolidation top that we whiffled and waffled at from 9.50 to when we broke it at 10.35. It is also kind of conflating with the 20 exponential on the 5, which is hanging out right now at 127 2/3. If we come back in there, I'm all eyes and ears to see if we hold up at that area. That could be an interesting long. Below that area, if we do break this consolidation zone over here, or consolidation area top, I should say, this the volume weighted average price right now is at 126.80. Could be maybe at 127 by the time we make it down there. But as I look, there goes 128. And now we may be coming into that 127.75, 127.50 area that I was just yapping about over here. So I'd like to see NVDA give me a better entry than the 10 exponential, because the respect this morning was very, very strong for the 10 exponential. And so you have to assume, at some point that level gets breached, and then we got to be looking at the next level. The question is that next level, the 20 exponential or that consolidation area top at 127.75 to 127.50. So I don't think we're going to have to wait that long to find out, keeping an eye on NVDA. The Fuge also took a bit of a turn down. NVIDIA and the Fuge charts look awfully similar today, and that's something we've been talking a lot about lately. Whoa, a lot of tags. All right, let's get to them. Gorev, shout out my man Gorev. Always with great ideas. Always keep your eye on what Gorev is dropping in the chat. He's always bringing stuff to my attention that I didn't have my eye on. S-Bucks on the 10 minutes. Wow, he says. Let's bring that up and have a look for our friend Gorev. Bringing the side chart over here. I see everybody else, guys. I promise I'll get back to them. We're just going to do the Gorevs first because I think he was first. So let's go to the 10-minute. Oh, that is a nice one, isn't that? Yeah, that's a nice one, man. This stock continues to recover. People are really liking this nickel guy. I wonder if they hired a guy named Dime.
Right? Or quarter.
At 200 already, Adara. No, right? We're kidding, of course. Shout out to him. Obviously, he's doing something there. Look, He's been brought in to control costs, and I think people have a general idea of how he's going to do that. Robotics. And so we'll see exactly how this one goes. But, yeah, very, very strong. Let's look at it at the 5 Gaurav, see, yeah, a lot of respect. Look at that. It's not even touching the 10. Let's flip to the 1. Yeah, this is just very, very, very directional. You could tell this is program buying over here. Great call out there, Gaurav. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. It's gonna bump another small cap gapper here off the side chart. We're gonna have to likely take off CGC. I want to put CGC because weed was moving today, but S-Bucks seems like the better move here. And even if there is no more upside, maybe we can get some downside move. All right, let's look here what other people were saying. Matthew Booth, Ramsdale move to Wolves also off. Sad for Aaron. He needs game time. I couldn't agree with you more. I really do feel bad for Aaron Ramsdale because I don't think it was anything he did wrong. I just don't think he can play out the back as good as David Raya. So you know how the modern game is. They want the goalkeeper as that 12th, 11th man, I should say, sorry. Yeah, it's a bit of a tougher move. I hope he lands somewhere good. And I hope in England as well because I think he wants to stay around his family. John Del Segno, MYRG Infrastruct, breaking down big time. Let's have a look. So MYRG, not a stock that I'm Meyer Group.
I've never heard of it.
Neither have I. Very light volume though, John. You know, like when I can just see the candles, when you have periods of 4 and 5 minutes where you're not moving, it's not one that we can, you know, safely trade on the prop floor. I do like this area where it's hanging out right now, 99.88. Let's see if it defends 100. It's awfully spready, so I'm assuming that the spread probably brought it down below 100 momentarily if it is to defend 100. But John, this is not one that we can trade here on the floor, but thanks for pointing it out. Freddie the Friendly Guy 2.0, I like it. That's my favorite date shirt, LOL, especially on Arms Day. All right, sounds good, Pete. Sounds good, my man. What else we got over here? John, yeah, all right. Oh, we already covered that one. Maybe wrong ticker. What did I type? MYRG? I typed MYRG, I swear. It's only done 20,000 shares, almost 21,000 shares today. So, you know, you just can't cut that. We trade stuff doing tens of millions of shares, right, John? You know that. What's your look over there, Adair?
Yeah, my look is I missed the Lily short. I'm not chasing this. If we get to 961s, I'll get short. If we don't, I won't. I will admit I'm a little bit sad. I think we showed it to Miguel in the chat saying, you know, Lily's going to break down. I'd already be short there. Shout out to you. You called it. I just didn't want to chase this because like I said, I had no interest in getting involved in this until I got that ask below the 961. And I guess that meant, you know, I missed my trade. I can live with that. I'd rather, you know, we're at a prop 4, we have to manage risk. I would rather take it a trade that to me was, you know, in levels that made sense to me. My next level in Lily that we're knocking at the door of it, and it's 957.
Get it there.
957, as I said on the book, or earlier today, on the book, 957 was like nuts. So what I did this morning was I was doing my other tasks, and then I had on the side there, I had my my book for Lily up so I could see if there's any price action I found interesting. So we push up into 966 at the time, that was the high day. Then we reject it violently, and we come back here to 957, and then we pop. Look what we're doing here now. We get to 957.50. Then we climb here about like 10 cents on the book. I'm like, now we just climbed another 10 cents. I took out my order for the short for now because I want to see if we can climb back up here. That being said, as I was watching my girl Lils, I did miss an opportunity for SPCE. And SPCE, one of the levels I had written down here on my little tickers to look at thing, what did I not? Okay, I definitely liked it, was that 544. Look at 544 in SPCE. We had all this pressure. We wicked down here into what's clearly a previous area of resistance here, that 535, and then we bounce. If we get another retest of 544, that could be a long for me, or you go long this 545 and you're risking to 544. Either way, I think you definitely have some profit heading up into 550, and you're risking like $1. So I'm cool with that. But it looks like as I'm yapping about these spready tickers, these tickers are indeed moving. Let's see if Lily breaks below 957. As I said, that was massive support earlier. If that breaks, the bow breaks, the Lily may fall. So that could be a look there. And as I say that, we hold 957. So some levels certainly still coming into play. I apologize, guys, not in any trades right now. I had a Tesla scalp earlier that was successful. I had my first crack at Lily here. But the thing is, I don't want to let these names off the hook. Because if I like them, why am I looking at anything else?
I don't know.
Right? That's what I think. So yeah, anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, like, as I said, I was, you know, doing a little bit of contemplation and just kind of trying to realize, you know, you got to stick with what you like. Meta, though. Shout out to, I believe it was Joanna Brewster in the chat, short Meta. I don't know if you're still short Meta, but if you are, like, wow. Great look here on META. Look at this false range too. We hold this level here, 522 beautifully, wick into it a couple times. Higher highs, but on a wick basis. And we wick into that 524, which is the base of that multi-day range we had, 524, 530s. Look what Meta does. It quadruples, but look where we bounce.
Go.
520. Not only is that VWAP, but you know what that's in confluence with? Confluence with that level yesterday, which was also near VWAP at 520. Shout out to whoever's just printing there. Maybe Wayne?
Euro.
Oh, Euro close. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to markets. Good times. We had a great look there. This meta could be interesting. Like I said, I want to save my risk for the big boys, the big spready tickers. But meta, though this is a 50-cent spread on meta, which even for meta is kind of a lot. I do like this 520 breakdown. I think if we can get that 520 breakdown, I'd be interested in taking that as a short. And in order for me to confirm that breakdown, I'd like to see us continue to reject this area just above 521s. Now, maybe I'm being a bit frugal, but I don't think frugality hurt anyone. I mean, it can make you sad. Sharif and I've talked about frugality, make you a little bit sad, but it can protect your gains and stop you from more downside. So good look there. What is anyone else? Redfin, some people are asking, just trade your book, says Miguel Lopez. I agree. Thank you, Miguel Lopez. I appreciate that. And that's what I've really been trying to do. And that's what I realized, that my book might be a little bit different than a lot of people's books, but it's mine, and you got to stick with what works for you. Redfin, can it bounce back here? Someone was asking. Okay. I will be positive, Sharif, okay? Even though Redfin's not. We have a double bottom here at 11 ones. Make a wish. We have a slightly higher low here at 11 20s. Now, we're struggling with VWAP. We already struggled with VWAP here with these topping tail candles. I think unless Redfin can reclaim this support resistance area here around like 1135, 1140, I would say that they're closing down the house for the day. That open house is over for the day for me, for Redfin, because right now that Redfin is a red ticker. Watching Lily as it does in fact bounce off 957s. Let's see if we get another rejection here for the Lilied one. EUM, IWM, I feel really badly because I haven't looked at you in a while.
Yeah.
And you've been given some opportunities.
Down 1% today.
Down 1%, and look at the level. I mentioned this on the small cap recap as well. 218. Double bottom. We pop up here. Sorry for yelling there, guys. I get excited. We made a higher low. Look at this, into 219.35. This is an intense top. A lower high, Huaduk. We are careening towards 218. Now, do I want to stake everything on a 218 breakdown? No. Low of day, 217.87s. I think 218 could be interesting, but like I said, I do have some other levels. I perhaps like a skosh more. Lily coming into it. And also, Smicky, if you can't hold 544 one more time, we'd have to make a choice between you and your spready cousin, Eli Lilly. One of you is getting traded. So happy I went live again today. If you see stuff you like, you gotta try for it again. Also, I wanted to be live ahead of CrowdStrike and Lulu earnings over the next few days too.
All right, that big drop in the market right there that we had that took us all the way down, Fabian, into 19.6. I was able to get in on Apple, and I took 25 pennies on the dead one. This was a 20 exponential retracement held. 228 to the dang T, and then all the buying came in there. I fumbled with this one, I can't tell you, 3 times, okay? I should have had a better entry than 228, 18 or 17 or whatever I had there. I was really trying to get in here. It didn't let me in the first time because the price action just moved up too quickly. I chased it, didn't get in again, and then I fumbled the keys because old man hands can't hang. That's just the way it is. So I took that trade on AAPL. Happy with this one. I'm looking again to this consolidation area, 228 and a fifth. Okay, it's to me, it's been important today because we whiffled and waffled and used it as a consolidation area top for the better part of 45 minutes. And then now we come down to it, defend it. So it keeps increasing in importance, right? When the stock has such a big move up like that, especially during the midday, maybe it doesn't continue to move up in the same bull flagish way, but rather it does that stair step up. We move up 20 pennies, retrace down maybe 10, move up 20, retrace 10. You guys get what I'm trying to say there. So I'm going to keep my eye on Apple. I think it's obviously strong.
Will it be the apple of your eye?
Ooh. Adara, did you see your friend Netflix?
I heard Netflix is doing insane things.
Your friend Netflix doesn't care about the market. It's up 2 1/3, whether the market's up or down. NFLX, right? Emphasis on the F. But no, seriously though, it just keeps
that's
moving.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good. That took me a moment there. I was too caught up in this beautiful price action, Sharif.
Look at that.
Look at that bearish engulfing candle. Though.
Can we? Yeah. Wow. It's been very directional. The reason I just started talking about it right away because I looked at the Mag 7 to see which one's the strongest. Obviously, Netflix, not a Mag 7 name, but it is part of FANG or the former FANG, so I have it there with Big Tech, so I can always keep an eye on it and then feel bad about myself every day for not having invested in it. Well, I did invest in, but I took up the position long time ago, so that nothing to talk about there. But in any event, keeping an eye right now on Apple because I feel it is one of the strongest of the bunch. I get NVIDIA is up more than Apple, but the way that NVIDIA is retracing now, decidedly breaking the 20 exponential on the 5 has me wondering if it's going to remain the strongest on the day. I don't care either way. We'll trade them both. But right now, NVIDIA breaking down below the 20 exponential. But it's coming. Say that again, Nia? AMD just broke low of day. It was a stronger of the bunch. Now it is down 1%. Yeah, it just broke that 149.25. Shout out to Neil. Thank you for calling that out. AMD decidedly down now, unlike its older brother, NVIDIA, still up here, 0.75%. I'm looking right here for NVIDIA, though. This is the area I was talking about. 127.50, 127.75. It's obviously breaching it now, but if we do get a bounce off this level, it doesn't have to come right away, I'm interested. The reason being, it's the same reason I was talking about that 228.20 on Apple. It's a consolidation area top, essentially from 9:50 a.m. to when we broke through it at 10:35. So we'll see if we hold up here. Right now, we're putting what looks to be a possible hammer candle. If you get a hammer candle there, wait for the 5-minute candle to make a new high. That's where I'm going to get in, keeping an eye on NVIDIA, keeping an eye on Apple. We'll see what comes.
Yeah, I got short SPCE here. It's not showing clear in the position report, sorry guys. I'm short 544s on this. That was the level I wanted. We had that flush in the market. We dropped lower. I said, take your opportunity to short SMCI. I'm watching what we do here at 544, 545.50. I'm going to give this $1.50 because I want here minimum 538. So I'm trying to get like $6 on this. I'm willing to risk a little bit more for that $6 winner. That being said, if we have any kind of pause here around that 540 level, there were some wicks there earlier. I'll take a piece out earlier. But as I said, 544 to me, that was a huge level that we tried to wick above here earlier. Then look at that bottoming tail candle. We get a support at 544. So we have that flush down in the market. We break that 544. I said, Adara, take this trade here. Try this trade. Lily's still below 960, so I don't want to be taking a trade there. Just take a trade. This one showed up. This one said, hi, Adara. Look at me. And I said, I do. SMC, I see you. I hear you. I'm here for you.
Aww.
We'll work on this together.
So nice of you.
That being said, is SMCI incredibly spready? Oh, yeah. You got to be aware of that. It's already tried to get me out of this position at least once here, almost twice. But you know what? Like I said, giving this to 545.50, giving this $1.50, I'm more than willing to risk a little bit more to get a little bit more. I even would argue if I was feeling a little bit less conservative, I could risk this to 546. I have enough risk for that. And that is arguably where the wicks get a little bit more interesting. But I don't want to be... You know, you got to have a playbook. Shout out to Miguel Lopez for saying in the chat, trade your book. My playbook is spready tickers at resistance and support levels. That's really what I've been trying to play all darn day here. The other spready ticker that was like waving hi to me that I know some people in the chat are involved in, so shout out to all of you guys, is Meta. Meta at this 520 has been giving you, it's had a war, it's had a tug of war. You know, biting at the tug of war rope, I don't know, at this 520 level. We wick up into 521 can't do anything for Meta. Then we wick below here to 519.50s, and then we bounce. So Meta to me, I think definitely not like trying to find a direction here as it chops around VWAP. I'll have eyes on it, but it's not one that I have a trade on as of right now. SPCE here pushing up into 545.60s is going to be after where we're going to be watching here to cut this trade short. I could arguably risk a little bit more, as I said, but I don't want to be risking just a risk. And as we push into 545.50s, we come right back down. I feel good about this trade for now. I'm going to try to breathe. I'm going to try to chill. Like I said, I'm always going to have to trust myself in the book because, again, am I like, you know, I'm not an expert like Brayer or anything. I'm not a perfect reader. But I find what I see, like, especially these spready tickers, I spend a lot of time looking at them. So I kind of know sometimes if there's distinct patterns that are interesting. That 545.66, though, I do not love how we're pushing up to this level. We're going to have to get out of this trade here, cut this one short. Now we make SMCI every time we get to this level, getting a little bit bamboozling. This is and now we're doing that thing where we get a little bit lower. Okay, we're gonna wait for this. Like I said, I cannot I don't want to panic sell out of this too early. I have no reason to sell this name yet. We just got back below 545, so we're going to breathe. We're going to chill again. I am short 544s. I am risking into the vicinity of 545, 50s, depending on what I see on the book. Let's go, Smicky. Spready Ticker is a great band name, says Jesse Munson. Yeah, I don't mind that name. I mean, hey, I'll be the lead singer of that band. I trade these often enough. But let's see what we got here with SMCI knocking back on the door, making lower highs about 545.50. This is pretty interesting. Netflix, yeah, I said the Evercore ISI price target.
Well,
yeah.
just the only reason I brought it up because Adam just put it in the chat
Oh,
right there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he's like, Netflix, all right, got an upgrade. There it is, Evercore ISI liking NFLX, unsurprising there, bumping up the price target from 710 to 750. So, yeah, up 2 1/5 right now, but, you know, it's still below that 711.
Oh,
Hi.
shout out to my people.
It did. I put it in a few days ago there. Oh, what was everyone yelling about? Oh, was it the euro?
That's very descriptive.
It's a very, very, very descriptive term. So good look there on NFLX. We'll keep an eye on that. It's not one that we typically trade too much on this desk because it is obviously a little bit spready. All right, so let's keep an eye on the future.
I like the Spready Ticker, Sharif.
Yeah, well, yeah, what am I saying? What am I saying? Yeah, then you can add NFL
I'm gonna put it on my side chart, yeah.
to your watch. Hey,
Thank you.
Awesome. Keeping an eye on the future right now because we're defending 19.6. So this is a good look right here. I would have liked to take NVIDIA a little bit long ago. I hesitated to take it, so I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Gives me a better price back above 128 right now. Good strength on NVDA. Good look here. Not much else for me to talk about. I only have, I didn't talk about the small cap gappers, so we'll bring in those in and yap a little bit about those. Okay, so here are the ones that I've got on my list today. I've got VOXX. This one, though, sadly broke down below the volume weighted average price at 480. And now it's trading at around a little bit higher than 470. Trying to defend that 450 area, though. There does seem to be a buyer at around 450. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of buying, though, because it's not really making any higher highs, just a consolidative move there. HAIN, another strong one on the day. This one's up 25%, done about 7 2/3 million shares. It's a bit of a bigger name, $771 million market cap, and the float has got 1. My program says it's got 1 share float. Kidding, of course, 18.4 million shares. And then let's find out what the short float is on Hain there. 4%, exactly, 4.04%. So we'll wait if this one can make it back above the volume weighted average price at around 8 3/4. It does seem to be obviously some selling in and around there. Once it broke down below VWAP, started using it as a level of resistance. So not a breakout trade for me, just a range trade below VWAP here as a long. Polestar. Obviously, this one's not a small cap gapper, or maybe it is. Not even sure the market cap. But this one is running for a different reason. I'm unlikely to trade this one. This is not the kind of name that I trade in small cap gapper world. These ones that move 1 and 2 pennies intraday are, you're going to have to size up big in them. And then I don't like doing that because the bottom can drop off. That's not about my life. Starbucks, so obviously not a small cap gapper, but thanks for Zion Lala for pointing this one out. Still respecting the 10 exponential on the 5. No breaches, at least not yet. The last time we were below the 10 exponential was 20 after 10. Keep an eye on that. SMCI, I've got that up there, unlikely to trade it. Givo, though, this one a continuation play from yesterday. Still an inside day, though, sadly, on Givo with the topping tails coming in at $1 there. The best we can do today is get up almost into 98 pennies, but the day ain't over, baby, and we have higher lows. So even though it's an inside day, meaning that we're ensconced by the lows and the highs of yesterday, we have a higher low. So that in and of itself is bullish. Now we can see, we'll have to wait and see, I should say, if we can break that $1 area. We couldn't yesterday, even on a wick basis. There were no breaches of the dollar. It gave you a gnarly retracement too. So this one is not beyond the V-shaped retracement. Keep that in mind. Yesterday, I assumed that we had to buy shorts or secure shorts. To short this, it's actually free for us here on Real Trading. So yeah, Neil's like, you put your stop a little too high there to test it. So GEVO still in play, up 9.83. And you know, when I was talking about 2020, I guess Neil didn't remember what 2020 brought for this name. Let me see if my weekly will load up here and we can show you that the outsized move that we had in 2020. And there it is. So this is October 2020. Look at this, Adara. This was 76 pennies, and by the time the week was over, it got to $15. So
wow.
In case anyone was wondering what the percentage change of that is, Adair, it's 2,800%. Not that bad.
Just like a little.
Bad.
It's not, yeah.
And so you can understand why I would remember a stock like that. So that was back.
I think I could.
Yeah.
I think I could.
Right? Late 2020, early 2021. So GEVO, definitely one that I'll be keeping an eye on. I still don't know. 4 years later, I don't even know what they do. I don't care. I don't care. So we'll keep eyes on GEVO. Last but not least, MNTS. This is a holdover from yesterday as well. So made a big move into that $1.53. I don't know what's going on with my charts. An inside day still from today, ensconced by the lows and the highs of yesterday. Higher low for today, defending that closing print from yesterday. So the closing print on MNTS yesterday was a $1.06. We don't break below that. Technically, the low is 103. You can see most of the prints though, and all the closing prints north of that $1.03, and now it's a $1.38, excuse me, is the high day, still well below the $1.54 that we put in yesterday. So keep an eye on this one. With respect to a breakout trade, you can see it's not really respecting the volume weighted average price. What I would try to base it on is this pre-market, or not pre-market, sorry, after the bell high at around $1.05, $1.25. Try to use those levels to gauge what the sentiment is at any one time. So those are the small cap gappers that I'm looking at today. If any new ones show up on my scanner, obviously I'll bring those to you. I know about APDN, but it's swiffling and waffling below VWAP right now, so I don't have a move on it.
Yeah, this SMCI here. Wow, this thing, every time it thinks it's getting directional, it doesn't. We are at a really interesting point here. I said I wanted to see what we did, and I was like, okay, we're making lower highs. Then we pop up into 546. I'm like, hey, Dara, you said we were going to risk up to $2. Get out. I'm about to press out. And then this thing comes right back down. So I'm like, SMCI, can you make a decision, please? Asking for a friend. If we now flip to support here at this 545 from resistance, because we were resisting that 545 hard, I'll get out here. I understand this is definitely I'm not trying to give this too much. I think with SMCI, you do have to risk a little bit more. And so that's why I was willing to risk up to $2 on this. And I said that I was really going to be trusting the book above all else. So let's see what we do here as we get to that 545. Definitely, this one will always make you bite your nails. That's what it's known for. As Sharif said, it's not necessarily one that's super fun to trade or anything, but these are the type of names I like trading. As we push back up above here into that 546, I am done for you right now. I almost said done for the day, but knowing me, that's never going to be the case. So we get out of here. Around, like I said, around that 545.25 is where that order went through. So yeah, definitely. I usually don't check my P&L, as I said lately, but for these ones, you kind of have to see how much risk you have. That's, I think, a valid point. So definitely, if I want to go for another crack at one of these names that I have enough risk at which to do so, I don't want to force into anything willy-nilly. Am I happy you tried this SMCI? Absolutely. It's a little bamboozling, you know that. The spread, honestly, this one right now I feel like is more unruly than Lily. The spread is certainly more unruly than Lily's. Also, Stream, imagine I get out of this trade and then it decides to break down.
Whoa.
But all jokes aside there, it's all good, baby. It's trades. You lose some, you win some, you make some, you make others. Diane Lala. Asking about TRIB and ADX, said, I know TRIB is way below this straight small cap rule. I talked about that one in the small cap recap just because there wasn't a lot moving at that time. But TRIB kind of weak right now. This one is a Trinity Bio. Oh, okay. This one, to be fair, still does break the Sharif Biotech or small cap rule because we are way below the pre-market highs, way below. But we're trying to curl back into VWAP with higher lows. Look at this flat bottom here we have at 280s. We look like we're going to flat bottom break. No, we pop back up here. Now we make a higher low.
Oh.
Could be pushing above VWAP, but this is a bit of a weaker small cap. Volume a little bit. They're also, in case anyone's wondering, the catalyst for this one, their HIV screening. They've now raised the revenue forecast for that. You can read about that in the watch list to promo that. Also, if there's any tickers you're watching, get in the chat, guys. !join. Space, $, whatever tickers are fancy. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls, also saying TRIB on the watch list. So shout out to you, Bears vs. Bulls. Appreciate that. Also, what about Nike? Because Courtney Smith is mentioning Nike, so let's see if there's anything running. You don't get a pushback, Nike, but I do like what we're doing here at 84.60s. Look at this here around this level. We wick below, we push higher, then we come to bounce off 84.60s beautifully. Now we're making a higher low. To me, Nike, it's a little bit of an anemic move to use a Sharifism. Look at these volume bars. They're kind of... But Nike is pretty strong on the day, up more than the market here. We're up about 0.7% here on that Marquette. Also, really happy I trusted my read on the SPCE book because SPCE now well above that previous resistance of 547. That's why, like, the thing is, I know I have a bit of a different risk approach. I've talked about this. I will have price levels, but I'm always going to trust my read on the book as well within reason. And so happy that worked out there. Lost $1.25 on this for SPCE, not bad at all. Honestly, I can fully live with that. I was willing to risk a little bit more. So let's see what SMCI does as we get back into that area, 552, that I like. Lily kind of meandering over here. There's not a lot of possibilities for me right now for that, so I don't want to get back into that. But also, shout out to Day Trader mentioning comments from Fedsmester. I didn't see Fedsmester on the docket for today, but like I said, some of these Feds like to poke their little heads out. Mester, also, I thought you retired. I thought you were being replaced by Beth Hammock. I've been talking about Beth Hammock for weeks, Sharif, for months. So Fedsmester apparently saying, I don't think the Fed is behind the curve. I don't support a 50 basis point rate cuts out of the box. So Fedsmester maybe making a mess of some of these people's rate plans. So yeah, kind of interesting look.
Get it together, Loretta.
Yeah, Loretta for the market. Loretta. I don't know. That didn't work out that well. Mester is former, so that's why I'm not on the calendar, says Neil. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, that makes sense because, like I said, Beth Hammock now taking Mester's position. And honestly, I've been so excited about like this new Fed speaker. I remember even like Brendan one time was like, "Are you excited about the new Fed speaker?" And she was like, "Yeah, like she's been talking about it for months." But yeah, heavy puts on the SPY, I think is what I'm seeing. Shout out to Monty G for saying that. Okay, sorry, I just gasped because I looked at this. I gasped a lot, guys. The market gets me really excited. I don't think you can blame me for that. There's a lot of excitement in these markets. Look at the SPY and what it's doing at VWAP. That's why I gasped, because I look at my side chart. You guys know the SPY book and chart. I'm kicking my feet under the desk. Look at this VWAP hold at 5.6. Oh my, Sharif. Sharif, if this picks a lane, and by that, I mean if we get that nice push here above that 560-70s, and I like what I'm seeing on the book, I will go long this because we've spent so long trying to break above it, then I risk it into 560-50s because I've been watching that on the book. You know what, SPY?
What's up?
Do you want to be like a creepy little spider? Creep up beyond that 90 MA? No, I don't want to. We have a lot of fun on this show, guys. But yeah, great look there. Yo, says Monty G. Yeah, yo to you. Yeah, I like to, any comments like that I see. I appreciate everybody for bringing their own unique perspective. As I said, I am in a unique position in that I've really only ever traded in front of people, which can in some ways be challenging because you want to make sure you're trusting yourself. But also, I honestly, like, above all, always so grateful for this lovely little community. Yeah, I love being able to be here. Shout out to Big Smile. Big Smile, Burdette. Saying Loretta, haha. Yeah, shout out to you. I'm happy you liked that. Julio, the only thing I'm on are good vibes and happy energy of being here to answer your question there. I do love these markets, and I'm very lucky to be here. And I want to hear what those triangles, Sharif.
All right,
like
here we go. We're going to take 20 pennies quick as you like there on the dead one. Happy with this trade. Probably going to go up a little bit more. But I want to remind you guys that the afternoon segment literally is nothing without you, because we now have a rundown that's decided by you guys, right? Like, look at this. Look at this. Rivian Millionaire wants to talk about Dell. You know what? Dell reports on Thursday. You want to see what Neil and Sean think about Dell? Get into the chat right now and vote for Dell. How about this? People were voting earlier for, let me just see here, the MNQ. It though wants to see the MNQ. The Katina Man trades the triple Qs. The T triple Qs. Get it, Katina Man? How was the walk and talk?
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. All right. Chris wants to talk about the triple Q. QQQ, he says. Get into the chat. Join for your, vote for the triple Q. Sebastian he actually voted for Micron. Micron down 1.8% today. You want to see what the Katina Man thinks about it? Do you want to know what Neil thinks about it? Get into the chat. Vote for your favorite tickers every day. There's a whole lot moving in these markets. I won't be convinced that you guys don't see something that you want the big kahunas to analyze. So get into the chat. Put it every day. The afternoon rundown is a segment for the viewers. But the only top 5 make it on. So have your friends vote your way if you can. Bully them, twist their arm, do what you need to do, but do it legally. So shout out to everybody there.
What?
Thank you for the people voting. Donkey Trader wants Dell. Scarlett, she wants to talk about NVIDIA. So does Zebev. He wants to talk about NVIDIA too. Vikian Novak is right down your alley. He wants to talk about SMCI.
You don't have to ask me twice, Vicky and Novak. You honestly also don't even need to wait for the afternoon rundown for that.
Right, there you go. So we got in, look, I want to talk about this Apple trade here real quick. yapping about how 228 is an important level, at least intraday, given the amount of whiffling and waffling we've had with that level. Sorry for this dark pool. I'll fix that in a second. We get up nicely here into 228 and change, come back down. I bought 228 before. I bought it a second time, and it's paid both times. However, we're getting lower highs and lower lows now on Apple, and now we're straddling the 20 exponential on the 5 rather than the 10. So the lows are getting lower, the highs are getting lower. We could see a nice retracement down on Apple. So I've taken the longs, but I'm absolutely open to taking the shorts. I'm going to look for a decided break of that 228 level. We get that big boy flush through 228. I'm going short, and I won't feel bad about it. Rivian Millionaire. These two, Sharif and Adara, have grown a great relationship. Remember their first day, and it was a little rough around the edges. Huge improvement. Great job, guys. Adara and I actually vibe off camera. We're always joking around and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, when you put two people that don't know each other that well on a show,
yeah,
right?
It's always going to take a moment,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So shout out to Adara. I think, by the way, I've said this before. I think Adara is ahead of the curve. She's a prodigy of sorts. The way that she understands and is able to read the market, from personally what I've seen, is quicker than how most people have been able to do it. So what Adara has been doing, learning in front of everybody, chapeau. Means hats off to her. So kill it, Adara.
I appreciate it. That's a really nice transition. I want to say too, shout out to Sharif, like, you know, I think we have a lot of fun in this desk. We have a lot of fun, you know, on that desk as well and in other desks. But no, in all seriousness, I'm really happy to be here. And I want to, you know, thank Sharif for being very, you know, chill to me as a new trader. And I think that's one of the best things about this community. We have people from different walks of life, different levels of experience with trading. Sharif's willing to listen to me rant about the Starbucks baristas, hashtag SBucks. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. This whole community is excellent. As I always say, everyone you see behind you, everyone you don't see, everyone you see on the show, and Ramin, Fabian, everyone in the chat. Also, I'll give my Oscar speech because I want to talk about the SPY. I said I wanted to be saving all my little riskies for my big spready tickers. However, the SPY, I said, if the SPY can crack that 560.70, I'll go long. Did I get in a little early? Yeah, I got in 4 cents early because we tried that 560.70 break. So the next time we wick into that, get long there. Got long 66s here. We're basically flat. The reason I'm staying in this is because, yeah, there's a lot of red coming into this book, but there's a lot of green pushing in here as well. And from what I'm seeing here, seeing a little bit more green than red. I'm seeing a lot of these pushes of green, and I'm risking here 15 cents. Well, 16. I'm risking like 560.50s, okay? So if we get below 560.50s, I'll get out. But look, we have not even really gotten near there. I think the lowest we've gotten since I've been in this is 53s. We're now getting into about 10 cents in the money in the SPY. Now, what's my game plan, you might ask, for this spider? Well, first, I want to be getting out 2/3 of my spider position here at 561. That is going to be 36 cents. I'm risking 15, so that is just over a 2-to-1 risk-to-reward ratio. As I said, mine don't always math, but they mean something to me. That's what's going to happen. Then I'll still have another third. You'd be like, Adara, what are you doing with that third? What are you going to do there? I don't know. Well, no, I do know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to risk it into 560.70s. If we bounce off 560.70s, I will add to my remaining third. If we do not, I shall not. Right now, though, I love that we got off the schneid here. We're above the, shout out to Neil, we got above the 90 MA. We're wicking now into that 560.50. Now, we're finding some resistance here at 80s, but I've noticed the SPY, because like I said, I'm always watching the SPY book, at least on some level. 560.80 on the SPY, or all these whole dollar levels, like once we get, or cent, like 10 cent levels, sorry, is what I meant. Once we get above those, we hold them pretty well. Ooh. If the SPY cannot hold 560.70, that's going to be a bit concerning, but I'm going to wait to see what we do here at 560.80s. Still have my beak wetter set here for 561. And again, guys, if there's any tickers you want to look at, let us know. We will look at tickers for you here on this show, but also we will look at tickers for you here, you know, on that afternoon rundown. Also, thank you guys so much for the support in the chat. I really do appreciate it. I have so much fun being here every single day, trying to develop my confidence, my conviction, all that jazz. Dell is flying, says Rivian Millionaire. So, yeah, let's, not Rivian Millionaire. Yeah, it is Rivian Millionaire.
It is, yeah.
So many names. Okay. Dell I just spelled for some reason with an H, so go typos. Let's see if I can type in Dell here. Dell. What the hell is Dell doing? That was pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm not gonna lie.
That's good.
Okay. Well, Dell's still flat on the day, but it could be flying comparatively.
I think that's like 3 or 4.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
Dell bouncing beautifully off that 110.50-ish, 110.60 level. If we can make a higher high, that'd be a nice look. I would like to see us break into 111.70s or then 111.80s. 111.12s, we haven't closed above, though we've looked above it a couple times in the 5 minutes. So Dell trying to push higher here to get that farmer up the Dell, but we'll see if this is a death knell for Dell if we can't get above that level, because look at all that red coming into this year book on this year Dell. We were just at 111.60s, now we're pushing below. I find Dell to be a little difficult to trade because I like spready tickers, but I find Dell kind of moves in its own unique little way. That being said, now we're trying to climb back up. Let's see what this market gives us. Still basically flat on my SPY position, about 5-ish pennies out of the money. If SPY can't hold these 550, like I said, I'm risking to 550, 560 50s. Pushing lower here. Let's see what's going on. What are you up to over here, Sharif?
I'm looking at Microsoft. I was just talking to the Katina man about MSFT, and I see a gnarly double bottom here forming on MSFT. Microsoft here looks, obviously the low of the day is at the $0.25, but look at all these holdups at the $0.50. And that can't be by accident, obviously. And now it's weaseling its way up. Look, it's down 0.45. It's below the volume-weighted average price, yada, yada, yada. I get all that. But price action is price action. And if we're getting holdups at 410.5 and we're got a very, clear-looking double bottom, the only way, this double bottom actually manifests into full-blown double bottoms, we got to break through the high of the day there, because this is a neckline, right? So you got to really retrace all the way up. But it doesn't mean I have to trade it that way, right? It doesn't mean that just because it doesn't manifest through 414.5 that it's not a double bottom, a full-blown double bottom, and I can't trade it. No, of course I can trade it. I can look for basically the move up into VWAP right now. It's at 411 and 2/3. VWAP's a little higher than 412. I can wait for the move into VWAP for rejection, right? So there's any number of things I can do. I've missed this level, though. I only noticed it ex post facto. There's 410.5 over here. Now we're about $1.30 above that level. MSFT finding some support at this area. There's no news really today to hold Microsoft down or to keep it up. All I saw on the week was that Microsoft and OpenAI are investing heavily in the G42, which is an Abu Dhabi or UAE AI company. And they're throwing a lot of money at it because a couple of reasons. One, they want access to Middle East. Two, they want access to Middle East data, which they don't have, which this company has. So that was really the only thing that I saw in Microsoft and OpenAI on the week, and that was basically yesterday. Nothing today. I looked at the blotter over here. A bunch of nothing burgers here for Microsoft. So likely to be a range is why I'm saying all that. So 413.5 is the closing print from yesterday. So if we break above that 412.10 where VWAP is, I'm definitely looking at 413.5 as an area that I'd like to reject. But we'll talk about that and much more, Dara, when we get, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to the deal, but first we're going to have to move over to thinking moo. So are you looking to maximize your idle cash? Because you could earn 8.1% on idle funds for up to 3 months. And U.S. users can take advantage of up to 15 free stocks and $300 in cash rewards. Hey, Canada, you're not left out. Enjoy 6% on cash balances along with up to a $2,000 commission rebate. So all you got to do is sign up for Moo to trade on extended trading hours. Trade 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., well beyond regular market hours. And whether or not you want to react to pre-market news, catch after-hours earnings, or simply manage your portfolio with more flexibility, Moo has you covered. Maximize your trading potential and stay ahead of the curve with extended hours today. For more details and the full terms and conditions, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Thanks to Moo for sponsoring this portion of the show. Thank you very much to our pal Neil, who's going to give us his lesson of the day.
Thank you very much, Adara. And unless you were hiding under a rock at the Open or adjacent to the Open, you probably remember hearing a story out of Hindenburg with a short seller report on SMCI. I'm not going to dive into the merits of it or what we think the stock is going to do a year from now. Personally, it doesn't matter. But we've seen this time and time again. So the lesson of the day is what to look for when you have one of these big short reports. And I'm going to pick on Hindenburg because they had theirs today. And I was reminded of something on Block when they had their short report. So first, I'm going to show you this daily chart of Block. And everyone gets to guess what day they think Block had a short report come out on it from Hindenburg. Okay, let's look at the volume on the bottom and see what we can find. No, it's probably just earnings. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, the day where it did like 4 times any volume candle on an earnings day. Yeah, that'll be it. March of 2023. You can see the gigantic gap down. I turned to Sean, I was like, I think it was that 58 level on Square that everyone was looking for that long. I even pinned it. I didn't realize I actually had done this. I pinned it on my Trade Ideas chart and still have the pin in there. So shout out to you, Trade Ideas. This is why you set up alerts at key price levels. But I remember when this happened, we pinned it to this bottom right at about 58. It's not exactly 58. But you have to think about the circumstances of what's going on here. Short sellers have usually accumulated, I don't want to say for all the time, but like almost all the time, they've accumulated a short position in a stock, which is fine. They think for whatever reason it's going down. When you find out that that report is being dropped, now it just really pissed me off. When that report is being dropped, usually there's already been a hefty move to the downside. You can guess where you want. I don't think it was a 2021 short by them, but let's imagine a scenario where like it does this false breakout. These are reasonable places. Loses the 50 period right in here. And it's like these kind of things make some sense. Like they could have been over a year they had that short. Or maybe they were simply shorted at this double top late in 2022. Who knows? There's all kinds of places where when it retests this is like double top in here. The point is there are all kinds of spots that are deep in the money. I'm just going to pick the most adjacent one there. Like they could have been much higher. But imagine a scenario where they were shorting into the last move above that 200 and it starts trending down. In order to build a position and cover it, they need that excess liquidity to get out. And a lot of times when you drop the report, that's your chance for that excess. And if it's a big name, a heavily followed name, a name that a lot of people are invested in, institutions are invested in, like a block and not some no-name stock, a lot of times there's going to be those buyers. Now, not every time is it going to be this clean, where you had a prior support at 58, and then everyone could just look at that, look left at that support level, it wicks underneath, and then for 2 days, 60, 60, and then multiple days rallying into 68, into the first moving average. It even retests that price area, and when it grabbed under 50, the reason why you want to pay attention to these levels, like the bottom from a short seller report, it grabs that level, meaning it hangs out there for a day or two, and when it bounces, because it ran some stops underneath the report bottom, it actually bounces even heavier the second time through. So why does this matter for SMCI? Now, obviously, I know the big caveat, NVIDIA reports tomorrow, Dell reports later in the week, so you do have to navigate both of those things. This time, there was no waiting for the buy the dip. Nobody waited till the open except for us, except for myself, trying to attempt it. They bought it right up off that 50 level, so the $500 level, and you can see it's barely even negative anymore, right back to where it started. What's interesting about this and why it could have been, I don't want to say anticipated, but if you look at that same setup over there on Square, where clearly anybody building a short had plenty of places where people could have been building shorts, and all of them are deep in the money. Whether it was here on a reversion, like it breaks a steep trend, you start shorting it in here, or it starts resisting 1,000 and you're just shorting it in the 900s. Either one of those things is not just a little in the money. I mean, the 900, it touched 600 and it just broke down. So what happened here? It goes 50% to the downside plus if you were short in there, bounces off an obvious 486 level that got talked about by many as a breakout spot in the beginning of 2024. This has happened. Then it consolidates under the 200 pre-moving average. If you're short, you've got to be thinking two things. Well, if I'm deep in the money, it breaks this, I'm getting out. If it bounces here again, I probably want to get out. So the second it loses this bid, the day after that, when you're about to retest that low, is exactly when they drop that report. Now, it's not often that you get an opportunity like that, risk to reward. You can see the bottom. You know the bottom because it already had one. You know that these short sellers are going to be in position already when this happens. Now, it's not that simple. You got to have, when the news hits, you've got to pull up that chart. You've got to do all that rationalization, and you've got minutes to do it. But there were a couple of opportunities to look left, see like that 486 to 490, witness the stock get under $500 very, very briefly, and then snap it right back up. It's not going to be as easy as block where you could have, for 2 days, you could have bought it off of that low before it rallied. But you've got to look left. You got to put your mind in, if we're short at these levels, okay, well, would you be covering here? How deep are you in the money? If the answer is yes, then it can be a pretty hefty bounce. And as long as it holds that low, I think you want to respect it. If SMCI holds this low through NVIDIA's earnings, through Dell's earnings, I think it's probably good to go. I have nothing for or against short seller reports. They do their thing. It is what it is. It's a part of the market. They are free to do it. But when we see these types of things, there are trading opportunities in the other direction, specifically looking for that long. Look left, find a big support level, put yourself in the mind of that short seller. Where would they rationally have been building shorts potentially? How deep are they in the money? The deeper in the money, the more likely that you're going to have a good covering zone, especially when it's a heavily owned and traded name like an SMCI or like a block in the past. So good luck to everyone out there. Congratulations if you got that SMCI long off the bottom. It was an absolute banger, but there are reasons why we could have been looking a bit deeper at it.
Thank you very much, Neil. Neilage, baby. Around that noon hour. Neil, eloquent, informative, and awesome as always. There he is. See? He's pointing at the brain. He's pointing at the Neilage when he does that, I think.
That's where the Neilage comes from.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, well, I'd hope it comes from his brain. So shout out to Neil. Thank you very much. If you're around on the midday, make sure to join us at around 12. Neil drops hotlines every day around that time. All right, so Microsoft. I said I'd get into it, and I did. Microsoft has a double bottom for whatever reason at this 410.25, 410.5. Feels like it's more of a 410 defend than 410.25, 410.5. I saw that, as you can see over here. There is the left side of the double bottom, the right side over here. It came in and put a topping tail candle. Okay, I'm going to show you on the 5 what I mean in a second, and to show you how I got in, because I got up to the bathroom, and when I came back, this had set up perfectly for me. So there's the curl back up. Then this candle here was operative. Why? Because it came in right to the 20 and then rejected. So I was of the opinion when that candle formed in that way and closed in that way that we were rejecting off the 20, and it was a situation where we're going to get a lower high. The other candle didn't care about what I thought. And so I saw the buying come in aggressively. Shout out to Gorev. He saw this kind of the same thing on AMD where there was that liquidity grab. I felt the same thing happen there on Softy, so I punched. I punched in at 60 and I took it out at 12. So I took 40 pennies quick as you like that. So I'm happy with this trade. Now, I'm all eyes and ears at the volume weighted average price. I know that it broke above it by a skosh, like 10 or 15 pennies. Fine, that's fantastic. That doesn't mean much on a $400 name. So what I'm looking for here, really long-winded way of saying, I've taken it out at 412. Now I'm looking for a possible short. It presents me with a short at VWAP, fantastic. It doesn't, I don't care. I'll look to take it north again. So Microsoft, even though it's very kind of subdued in its price action today, only down 1/3%, presenting you with predictable opportunities that are not, super quick. So for the traders that don't want that crazy volatility but want to weasel into Mag 7 name and ride the trend as it moves on the future, maybe this is one of those ones. And there it is. Now it's pointing like it's going to do an inverse hammer candle, rejecting the volume weighted average price. So I don't have to be first, right? We're going to wait to see, can this one make a 5-minute candle to make a new low? If it does, then that's my entry. I'm going to keep an eye on MSFT. Let's see what else is afoot. Okay, so I was disrespecting Tesla today, talking about how it was looking like the weakest of the bunch. It still has that very distinctive hockey stick pattern where we move down and then whiffle and waffle sideways for the majority of the day. Now look at this. So look how many times we rejected VWAP here between 10:50 until the last rejection here at 11:25, and then we broke down even further. Okay? So now we're right back at that area that we were at earlier, 210.50, 210 1/3, above VWAP, but not by much and not really distinctly above VWAP. The other side of that, so that's the negative side here, that Tesla might continue to be weak. The other side that Tesla could find a bit of a bid is these higher lows. Every successive low has been higher than its predecessor. That's usually accumulating for a bigger break. We'll see if it comes. If it doesn't, that's fine. But I'm on the lookout here for TSLA.
Yeah, I actually got back in to Eli Lilly, and I want to talk about it. I have enough risk reward for this. It's actually tight for Lilly. I'm only risking $1. I want to talk about this. So Lily, I come look at it, and it's doing what I want to call a bid climb. I'm going to trademark, no, I'm joking. But basically a bid climb, I've talked about this. When you have on the bid, we push incrementally higher by like a cent or 2 cents. Now, these spready stocks don't often move like that. So if you see this kind of inch, that is, to use a word a term Obi uses, distinctly different. So for me, when I see that, that usually gives me a bit of a sign. So I see this bid climb here on Lily here, and we're talking like cents. Like we do this for like about 10 cents. We're like, oh, hi.
Who is that?
Sunglasses get Trenda.
Who is that? Ram, someone's kidnapping Trenda. I don't really mind.
He's also a turtle. Look at the hood. He's got.
Oh, well, I got to be honest with you. I'm just happy somebody took Trenda.
Okay. And he's gonna make winning trades now, says Ramin. So she's like shading. Yeah, no, shout out to Ramin. But also the point I'm trying to make is, so we had the bid climb here on Eli Lilly before we accidentally summoned Obi there, who's now standing behind us, waving, trying to threateningly. Shout out to Obi there. But yeah, Eli Lilly trying to climb up here. I think if we break above that 90 MA, oh my God.
Oh, come back in the shot there, bro. Where are you going?
He's like, I've done my work. I need to go.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so we're looking like we're going to smack the ask here on Eli Lilly. And if the ask gets smacked on Eli Lilly, basically what I'm risking here is I'm risking like $1, risking just below 957. 957, as I said, a huge support level. I'm going to give it 20 cents below 957 because the spready stocks, you do have to give them a little bit of wiggle room before they can, slap the ask. Hopefully to the upside here. In terms of where I want profit here, I'm risking $1. I would like to see what we do heading into 961s. So I am, we're looking for just over $3 here, risking $1. That's a slightly above 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Again, mine never have to mathematically make sense as long as I'm cool with them. SMCI though, as I said, we were like, I go to sit down. And SMCI, we're holding 554.01s on the bid, 554.02s, 554.03s, then we push higher. So basically, I was really upset I missed that opportunity to push up there in SMCI. The second I saw it in Lilly, I took advantage. We're like 35 cents out of the money in Lilly. That's the thing with Lilly. You got to pack that patience. Could this be a bit of a bear flag or a hockey stick? Absolutely. But the way we had all of these bottoming tail candles and the slow climb to the upside with these higher highs and higher lows, I like that. And I'm willing to try that. That being said, we're now back below that 957, so things can get into a bit of a decision point here for Lilly. But again, you miss 100% of the trades you don't make. I would rather take a risk that I believe in and have it not pay off than not take risks I don't believe in. That's why I went live today, because I said, you know what? If Lilly and SPCE, two of my favorite tickers, are going to have catalysts, best believe I'm there for them.
I love it.
How are you
I love
doing?
it, and that's guts because they're awfully spready. So,
oh yeah.
Here's the look. Here's the look. Two new small cap. Well, I don't want to call one new. Trib has been on everybody's radar because it reported yesterday. Good look, though, off that 280. It holds literally the same consolidation area that it held yesterday, I guess in the aftermarket, because this thing reported obviously at 405. After that big move up, we held 280. So Trib holds the pre-market low generally, maybe a couple pennies below, but now working its way back above the volume weighted average price. I don't want to use the pre-market high to gauge this name. It's not a small cap gap. Well, hold on, it is, Adara. It's like 30 million cap, so market cap. So yeah, I actually have to use the 420 here. Look, it broke above VWAP, but I know 420, I know. But, yeah, I know. It broke above VWAP, but I don't want to take it as a breakout, guys. Pretty Panda, I told you I'd cover this. I don't want to take it because it's against my rules. It's got to break above 420 for me to really get involved with it as a breakout trade. Now, I don't mind range trading it, whether it's above or below VWAP. Right now, though, finding a bit of a trend, as we can see, can held that 2 3/4, 2 4/5, and has been putting in higher lows and higher highs. It is now above the IB high. The IB high was kind of anemic at 330. Now we're printing 339, but we're still below the pre-market high. So good recovery right now for Trib. It could present us with opportunities, but right now I can't take it as a breakout trade. Another one, though, is weaseling on to my scanner here. It goes by OGEN. Now, I got to tell you, it's a little light on volume still, but that could change. 500,000 shares or a little bit less than 500,000 shares traded on this name. It did start its life out above $1 today at that $1.02, so it is not a sub $1 name, so we don't have to worry about that kind of look. Here are the deets on OGEN. Almost $7 million market cap, 6.9 right now. As I mentioned, 460,000 shares traded on the day, and the float is 3.4 million shares, so quite small, but not, tiny. Let's find out the short float. 14%, a little bit less, 13.89%. Fantastic. We love these heavily short or heavier shorted names because they present us with opportunities for, parabolic moves to the upside, quite frankly. So now it behooves us to do some charting on a bigger time frame to figure out where the areas of support and resistance are. So what kind of stock is this? It is a down and to the right stock. So as you can see, obviously this has not been a good couple of years, essentially since the tail end of COVID for this name. What do they do? What is this company? Organic development stage company engaged in research and development of nasal delivery pharmaceutical medications in neurology and fighting infectious disease. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's a lot of work being done on oral GLPs. These guys taking it a bit of a different way. They're going through the nasal route. So interesting, always interesting stuff. The only issue, again, remains that it is light on volume. And what's the spread currently on this name? Look, it's a 5 penny spread on a dollar name. That ain't gonna cut it. The spread's got to tighten up for me to get involved. I just wanted to point it out because it just moved up there big on my scanner. So keep your eye on this one if you're interested in these smaller, small cap names. But for me to trade it, it's gonna have to work a little bit higher on volume. What's S-Bucks doing over here? Let's put Starbucks on the side because it's not updating on my chart. Dang it, Starbucks is still holding the 10 exponential like a dang glove. 2 1/5 now. Shout out to Gora for calling this out, man. I didn't have eyes on Starbucks. I'm gonna have to put this up on a trading screen here because it is. This is a buy program. This is as buy program-ish as you get. Yeah. It has not breached the 10 exponential once on the day, not once. So yeah, that's a good look right there. Julian. Alejandro Castillo. What's GME looking like? Let's have a look. Let's pull up GameStonk. Nothing from the Catman recently, eh, there?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. So GME today, guys, where are we at? We're down 2 2/3, or thereabouts. We've broken down now below the closing price from yesterday, which is 221.40. Not much to say in GME today, guys, nor do I see any sort of catalyst, and that's going back days here. Only technical events that showed up here. They are obviously looking. GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen is on the hunt for top product and graphic designers. Yeah, he's going to need a lot more than that, bro. But anyway, yeah, not much that I have to say today about GameStop, especially without a catalyst, by the way. Big Style, Burdette, Big Smile, and Big Spile. They're all the same people. They're all interchangeable. Shout out to him. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Come on, bro. To hell with the lessons and small cap gappers. Big Spile is over here crushing fools in the chat and talking and taking all the points from Streamlabs. Ponzi who? I guess you beat Ponzi in the duel there. That's what this whole rant is about, Big Spile. So shout out to you. Thank you, obviously, for the super chat. But Big Spile, man, don't disrespect my money flow index. I did hard work on this yesterday. I stayed up about 45 minutes putting together this lesson. Show me a little bit of credit here, Big Spile. Disrespecting my lessons, Adara. No, I'm going to go home.
You do the points flow index. Maybe then we'd have some more excitement for the lessons if we did.
I want to also remind everybody to vote, right? So I look at my man there, Nader. Nader just voted for JD. JD.com obviously reported a couple of days ago Walmart sold much of their position in JD. Now JD announcing a buyback program. So if you want to vote for your favorite takers, get into the chat right now and exclamation point join space the word $, and vote for your favorite takers. And Neil and Sean, the big kahunas, will cover it for you on the afternoon rundown. If they traded it, they'll show you exactly how and why they got into it. And if they didn't, they'll tell you why they stayed away from it or how they would have traded it. So get into the chat right now every day, baby, and have your say. Like for example, over here, we got people asking about TTOW, Trilio. Do you guys want to know how Neil and Sean would have looked at Trilio?
That's take two. TCO,
Take two, sorry. Take two
TCW.
interactive, yeah. Do you want to know how they would have voted? Not voted, but traded it? Get into the chat and vote for it. My man over there, Rivian, he's talking about Dell moving up. Do you want to see what the look is on Dell before earnings on Thursday? Get into the chat right now. Vote for your favorite ticker every day, Adair.
IK, we do have an auction at 2 p.m. No, 1 p.m. We have the 2-year note auction. There we go. As you can tell, Tired Adara, trademark, has entered the building. And with that in mind, so I was not able to get a Lily where I wanted to because I forgot, like, honestly, I think I forgot what I tried to buy instead of sell, and I was long. They get shut down here. I'm going to be really, really honest. Am I upset that I went live for this? No. Because I felt good. And like I said, there were risks here. Had I been awake, I would have been okay. My brain fell asleep at the wheel there. I have to pay the brunt for that. There will be aggressive journaling, but I always want to be honest with you guys here because that's what it's all about. I know there are different traders of different experience levels, and so if things are going to go of different ways. So if things are, you gotta. Wow, my brain.
Over for a
yeah,
bit?
it's okay. I really want to explain what happened there.
Sure.
So I was trying to get out there. I accidentally was trying to buy instead of sell. All good there. Again, buy a hair. It is what it is. Very, very happy with the trades that were attempted to be made there. I did like the push up in the book, but you always have to remember too, and this is the one thing that I'm still trying to figure out, is you definitely need as strong as possible confluence with the markets, especially when you're trading these spreading names. Because if those things drop on the spread, and there's like one little move in the market, that can get your whole thesis all whack, and then it comes right back and pops up. You know what I mean? So you got to be aware of that. You got to be prepared for that. You got to do some aggressive journaling, and you got to keep going. Before I pass it back to Sharif and switch back to the sim, your analysis, woohoo! Let's look at, someone saying in the chat was saying your analysis once, and I thought that was pretty funny. Roku, though, Gurav wants to look at Roku, so let's look at Roku here, see what we have buyers and sellers trying to do in the Roku. Oh!
This thing is flying,
Yeah,
bruh.
it's not just flying, but look at that. I mean,
hell?
it is flying. Look at this like double bottom here-ish. We're on 69. What's life without whimsy, Sharif might say. Then 69.90, double top, push chip top around VWAP, push higher. Great look here for Roku. Definitely going in. There's a word for that, side chart.
Hey.
When I arrive in the sim, because you know what, the market can knock you down. The market can get you can get back up.
Oh, yeah.
No market. No market, no cry. Adair needs some calls on S-Bucks, says Pickle Monster. That's pretty funny. Actually did have Starbucks earlier today. But yeah, this S-Bucks, are you not on the NQ S-Bucks? S-Bucks not loading for me for some reason, but there it is. Oh, wow, look at all that great, you're right, there's buy programming and then their hills for this SBUX.
Bruh.
Oh,
look at this.
But look at these topping tail candles.
Yeah.
Okay, S-Bucks. I will be shorting you in the sandwich. I will be in a second once I take my screenshots from my aggressive journaling. To shadow Cardi B, fault 9 times, but I get up 10. That's what you got to do here. And that's why I'm always honest with you guys. Happy you tried to go live. Did it work out? No. But are we back? Always. But we also talk about money flow.
Money flow index. Thank you for that segue, Adara. This is a momentum oscillator to build on the lesson from yesterday when we talked about the rate of change. Another momentum oscillator. We'll be talking about the RSI and other momentum oscillators as the week goes on. Well, let's talk about MFI, money flow index. What is it good for? Let's get to it. So the money flow index is, as I mentioned, a momentum oscillator that measures the strength of buying or selling pressure in the market. So unlike other momentum oscillators like the RSI, like some others in stochastics that focus primarily on price, MFI takes a bit of a different twist here. It focuses on price, obviously, but also weights volume very heavily. So that is kind of its distinguishing feature between it and other momentum oscillators in its class. This is what it looks like on the chart as we typically see these oscillators, these indicators on the bottom part of the graph below the price action. And this is kind of how we make the analysis that I'll get to in a second about price action, indicator divergence. We look for highs and lows on the price and we compare them to the highs and lows on the indicator. More on that to come in a second. But this is typically how it looks here. You'll see that the area above 20 and below 80 are shaded because those are the neutral areas, the neutral zone for all my football players out there or football fans. Anything below 20 is considered oversold, much like a below 30 print is on RSI. Anything above 80 considered to be overbought, much like the 70 print on the RSI. So that's what we're looking at here. This is how it's depicted. I know I have it on my charting software. It's included as a study or an indicator. I'm sure you guys have it as well. And I know for a fact TradingView has it. The calculation of MFI, we're not going to really belabor this, but for all my math heads out there, we're going to just talk a little bit about it. It's calculated using a 14-day formula that considers the positive and negative money flow. The positive money flow occurs when the closing price is higher than the previous period's closing price, and it's a negative money flow when the closing price is lower than the previous period's closing price. And here's the calculation for all my math heads out there. You can kind of take that formula and then use it to derive other formulas. Shout out to grade 11 advanced math. All right, I know, right? That's when we first started deriving formulas. Well, at least that's when I did. Interpreting MFI. So how do we, use it to gauge market sentiment and to gauge trades? So I'll submit to you two different ways. One is as an indicator for gauging overbought and oversold conditions, and the other one, which I'll get to in a second, as we alluded to earlier, divergence. Price action indicator divergence. With respect to overbought and oversold, or gauging overbought and oversold, as I alluded to earlier, anything above 80 is typically said to be overbought. Anything below 20, typically said to be oversold. Divergence, though. When the money flow index diverges from price, it can signal a potential reversal, whether going up or down. The reversals don't discriminate. For example, if the price is making new highs, but the MFI makes lower highs, it could indicate a bearish divergence. Same way we use for MACD, same way we use for RSI. We're looking for price action, indicator divergence. Not the only thing we can use it for, though. And here's a chart to kind of depict all the things I just talked about there. When we dip below 20, we're oversold. When we move above 80, we're overbought. Here are the divergence examples. Look how on the price action over here, we make higher highs, yet when we look at the exact same area on the money flow index, we make lower highs. Same thing over here. This is bullish divergence. This is bearish divergence. So bearish divergence on the left, bullish divergence on the right. Why do I say bullish divergence? Because the price is making lower lows, yet the money flow index starts putting in higher lows. That's when you know that the trend reversal may be coming, and that the trend reversal this time will be to the high side, not the low side. So that's kind of how it's depicted on the chart there. Just wanted to show you that. Now, for trading, I've already explained to you two different ways we can use this, identifying overbought and oversold and price action indicator divergence, but it's also good for confirming the trend. Now, this might seem so obvious. Sharif, why do I need to look at the money flow index to know that the market is moving up or the market's moving down? Well, because sometimes we're not only looking for divergence, we're actually looking for indicator price convergence. It's going to be situational, right? So confirming the trend, a rising money flow index can confirm an uptrend, while a falling money flow index obviously confirms a downtrend. Kind of a little bit obvious there. So three ways for using money flow index for trading: IDing overbought, oversold, confirming trends, and then IDing divergences between price action and indicator. And this is kind of what it looks like when it's confirming the trend. Money flow index heading down, price action heading down. Money flow index putting in higher lows, higher highs, price action putting in higher highs, higher lows. Now, we talked about the rate of change yesterday, which is a different momentum oscillator, one that considers only price. Let's talk about some of the differences and similarities between the MFI and the ROC. So both MFI and ROC, we should preface, are momentum oscillators, so they fall within the same group, and they can be used to identify, obviously, overbought and oversold conditions, as well as identify potential upcoming reversals. However, there are some key differences. That's what we're going to talk about here. The focus of MFI is on both price and volume, while on the rate of change, it is only exclusively price that it looks at. It's only looking at prices, trying to gauge the rate of change of the price, but it cares cares nothing about volume. And that, to me, it's good for certain things, but it has a great amount of limitations there because volume is super important. The calculation as well differs a little bit here. The MFI, we're basing it on a 14-day formula that considers both positive and negative money flows, while the rate of change that we talked about yesterday is based on the percentage change over a specified period. And as we talked about yesterday, that specified period is going to have to do with you. What's your trading timeline like? Are you a swing trader overnight, 3 days, a week, 3 months? So that's really a year. Whoa. Yeah, you could go up to a year, I guess, right? I guess that'd be more like long term, but yeah, I see your point. That time frame is what's going to influence that end value from yesterday. I don't want to belabor that again today because it's not the focus of the lesson, but it's important to have some follow through. And the sensitivity between the two oscillators also a little bit different. MFI is more sensitive, obviously, to changes in volume, while the rate of change is more sensitive to price changes. So if you want to use them in combination, absolutely could do that as well. But as you can probably tell, I've said volume a lot today, and that's because there's a great degree of overlap between the money flow index and the volume indicator. And we're going to talk about how to use them together for better trading strategies. So the MFI and volume, as I said, closely related. MFI measures buying and selling pressure based on both price and volume, while volume indicates obviously the amount of activity entering the market. By comparing MFI and volume, traders can gain more comprehensive understanding. So let's talk about some strategies here that we'll use using MFI and volume. The first one is to confirm, using volume to confirm the money flow index signal. So if there is divergence between the money flow index and volume, here's what happens. If MFI is indicating an overbought or oversold condition, but the volume is high relative to what? To previous days. You have comparators. Look at the daily chart. It could suggest to you the trend is likely to continue. However, convergence also important here as well. If the money flow index is indicating an overbought or oversold condition, but this time the volume is low, it could signal a potential reversal. So one signals potential continuation, and one is pointing more like things may be changing a little bit, the winds of change coming for a reversal. But using the two indicators, volume and MFI, also good for identifying accumulation distribution. And we know this is a big market event because it's big money who's accumulating and who's distributing. It's not you and I and Joe Schmo and Obi. Okay, so
you called out Obi. You and I, Joe Schmo, and Obi.
So the point is to be able to kind of have notice of when institutional buying or selling is accumulating and distributing. Here's how we do it. When the price is declining, but the money flow index is rising, it could indicate to you accumulation, and it's suggesting to you that the larger buyers are gradually accumulating in that asset. Distribution, on the other hand, when the price is rising, but the money flow index is falling, it could indicate to you that this distribution taking place, which is essentially larger sellers gradually selling their positions off. So it's one way we confirm moving out money flow index signals using volume. Second way we just talked about right now, identifying areas of accumulation and distribution using MFI and volume. And the third here is setting trading targets. So volume-based trading targets specifically is what I'm talking about here. So based on the volume accompanying a breakout or a breakdown, works both ways, traders can set price targets. For example, say that again, Katina Man. The Katina Man said the market is tanking. I haven't even had a look. Yeah, we just breached 19.6. We're flat now on the NQ. So yeah, keep your eye out, guys. The NQ at the volume weighted average price just below 19.6. Interesting area here. Lower highs, by the way, at 19.650. Initially, the high was almost 19.7. So lower highs coming in for that possible flat bottom break, Katina Man, right at that volume weighted average price. Be on the lookout for that. But to go back to basically the idea here, now we're going to talk about using setting targets based on volume. So what do I mean by that? So for example, if the breakout occurs on high volume, the target could be the previous high. Conversely, additionally, managing risk is another thing we can use MFI and volume for. So volume-based stop loss is not one that I've personally used in my trading career, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, I know, right? Here's the look, Adara. Traders can use volume to set dynamic stop loss levels. For example, a stop loss could be placed a few ticks below the previous low on a day with high volume. So you're looking to the day here to basically gauge where the stop loss could go or the profit target could go, rather than looking at price levels, which for me is a novel approach and one that I haven't employed in the past. So I'm going to not comment about the success or failure of such an approach. But that's basically it. Money flow index, guys. Learn about it. It really takes into consideration two parts of the picture here as opposed to one. Really concentrates on volume, really concentrates on price. And if you want to mix it with the volume indicator, obviously, which we all have on our, I'm assuming, on our charts, all the better there.
Yeah, all the better indeed. Shout out, thank you very much to Sharif for the lesson. In 16 minutes, we have a auction. It's going to be the 2-year auction, so we'll let you guys know if there's any re-auction or an auction reaction there. But also, guys, what if there's any tickers you're looking at? Because you have just over an hour until the voting ends. And then at 2 p.m., Sharif will sit onto that green screen. He will gesticulate wildly. He will be pleased as punch. And you will be able to see what Sean and Neil have about your tickers. But what ticker? Well, how do we know a ticker? Just get in that chat, !join, space, $, whatever ticker you like. This segment is brought to you by our sponsors and our friends at Real Trading. Thank you very much to Real Trading for sponsoring that segment. Like I said, shut down there, not shut out. Definitely, the reason I wanted to be clear, that I know I said I initially wanted to be in the sim a little bit longer. The reason I decided to go live today again was just because there were so many tickers that I usually trade that were in play. We had Tesla in play, which I was actually profitable on there. We had SMCI. We had Lily. We had SPY at some interesting levels. So made the attempt. The attempt was not successful. I will be. Aggressively journaling. Thank you, Sean. That is what I was trying to say there. I will be aggressively journaling, and I will not have any regrets because I stand by the trades I made. Like I said, the issue with Lily is tired trading brain hit right away. I wasn't able to get out at all where I wanted. I thought I was short, which, because then I looked over and I was like, oh, I missed, why didn't the long work out? Look, the trade's working now. Yeah, the short was working. So I think my brain was confused. To be clear, I did like the short, or the long. See, I still don't know what I had here. That 957 was crazy support in the book. It was crazy support on the chart. I liked the long because we had these higher lows. Was not able to get it where I wanted to because my brain was on autopilot. Not an excuse, but something to journal about and something to push harder for. And that's why going back on that sim to continue to work on the trading and to get things better every single day. What else are we looking at over here? Market's not tanking. Market's providing an opportunity for the brave, says Molfar. I like that. I tried here a SPY short, though. Shout out to Vicky on Novak. I think you were in the right there saying SPY long in the chat. I tried the short here because I like that 560 breakdown. I think I missed most of the move looking at these wicks because it looks like we wicked all the way down to 559.80, then came right back up. Tried the short. The short was not successful. I was going to give this here to like 30s, which is a little bit more ambitious than I normally would be, but I was watching the book on this, so I gave it 30 cents. We didn't even have to. I ended up getting out here, lost 14 cents. The reason I got it where I did, even though I know I was risking more, was because on the book we were making higher lows. I could not hang with that. I got out, lost 14 cents, though, as I said, was prepared to risk more. Because of my tired trading rules and how I said I'd like to be a little bit more discerning when my brain decides to, take a little bit of a pause, a denouement, a moment. I guess denouement not really accurate here. But the point I'm trying to make is I want to make sure I'm taking trades that make sense. I want to trade the same way I would in the live. So I'm not going to be rushing into any trades. If things set up, I will be trading them. SMCI, someone was saying SMCI long in the chat. SMCI to me, a bit of a double top with a slightly lower high. However, if you're looking for SMCI levels, there's a clear level to me on SMCE. That level is going to be 544. That being said, now we had a little bit of a bottoming tail candle here at that 548. So this could be an interesting level. I will trade this in the sim if things set up. Again, always happy to be part of this community. Always be very honest about this journey because trying to grow every single day as a trader, you will never grow if you don't try. And sometimes trying involves chilling in that sim, taking those sim trades so you're ready for the real big boy trades.
Adara, I've been handed the sticky note.
It's a very big honor.
It is, Adara. And I've been asked to read the entry on the top right-hand corner of said sticky note.
Let's go.
And it reads as follows. PLTRSS, meaning short sale, trending down. The price that the Katina man put, $31. Look at this. 31.13. He's short as we speak. 31.10. Shout out to the Katina man. This one dipped into 30.70. It's a hell of a move, brother. Ram. There it is. There you go. There it is. It's a symphony of green and purple candles. Shout out to the Katina man. That is top wick. We call that
top wick and top dollar.
He's also short meta as we speak. There it is. Big boy short right into that 522. It keeps bouncing off 520. The Katina man says, yeah, it's a bit of a range-bound day, I feel, Katina man. But, yeah, we'll see exactly how this goes. All right, let's have a look over here. Apple did dip into 227.5 right around the volume-weighted average price. It didn't quite make it down to the $0.50. Now looking to go back into 228. Question is, 228 was such a long area.
I love that little trend. Did you see that trend where it was like the chart and then you could see Sean's head in the background?
Oh, I didn't see that. I was looking at the chart. But Idera, I think that, we're going to have to see how 228 here acts on AAPL because we were using $228 as a level of support. Now we break down below it by 50 cents. Can we reclaim it like nothing happened, or do we use it as resistance? So keeping
Resistance?
Shout out to the French Revolution. Of course, yeah. Yeah, that's the look right now. 228.5. Well, I studied in England, right? It was like $40 to fly to Paris, 40 pounds. Ryanair. It's like 100-something euros, almost 200 euros to take the Eurostar to Paris.
How fast?
Not even that fast, Katina, man. I was in Paris in about 45 minutes. Flew out of Nottingham into... yeah, it was Ryanair, man. And the thing is, they don't even give you a seat, Katina, man. You choose whatever seat you want.
You can't.
I can't, yeah, I know. Well, Toronto traffic is what it is, guys. Yeah, it's not going to get any better, sadly. That's a look. All right, so here we go. It looks as if, we're bouncing here on these markets, Adara. Here comes 19.6 again. 19.650, excuse me, again. And we have been very respectful today of the volume-weighted average price on said market. It's been a while since I've seen us really respect these indicators in such a way on the future. But here it is. We're using this area as a top. And we're using this area as the bottom. This area, I'm talking about VWAP as the bottom, and we're using 19.650, generally that area, as a top. So that's a nice little range there over, I'd say about 80 or no, about 75 points of range, maybe a little bit less. So interesting look today on the future. Definitely looking for that 19.7 break, but that may come in a little bit later and during the power hour. So NVIDIA's curling up here, wanting to break through that 128.50, getting a nice little push up here off that market bounce from 19.6, 128.50, a bit of a local high. Then obviously we're looking at 129 as the intraday high. So that is the look right now on the markets. Let's flip here to some small cap gappers and see what's afoot. Trib, yeah, as I suspected, I kind of felt like this was not really going to come into the pre-market high at around 420, 410 area, but it's trying to hold above the volume-weighted average price. Not much for me to zig and zag with this one. Polestar breaking down now below VWAP here, so that $1.14 seems to be a bit of a wall, and it's also broken down from below VWAP for the first time on the day. Polestar only up now 4.85. S-Bucks continues to do well here on the move up. We were kind of not joking, but we were saying, like, without really much evidence, that this is a buy program, and this looks like one hell of a buy program. But when it gets turned off for a little bit while the traders go on lunch, I guess it dipped into the 20. But yeah, seeming like it's being bought up off there. What else we got over here? SONDs, dead money, GIVO's breaking into VWAP. So this could be an interesting one here on GIVO, as it can't break above $1 for the second consecutive day. Yeah, not a whole lot happening in these here markets, Adara, but I see that you're involved in something. I like it.
I am. Excuse me. Shout out to Yon Analysis, as someone in the chat said. So I am currently long the SPY. I tried to short the spot here because we were struggling with that 560.60. That was a level I found interesting when I was trading this live. And then I got out of the long way too early. Shout out to Vicky on Novak in the chat. He was like, oh, I hope you're still in the trade. And I was like, Alas, I was not. Did end up getting stopped out bottom wick, as you know, a thing that we love, as you know, on this show. Getting stopped out bottom wick, isn't it so fun? But my bad jokes aside, then I decided to flip long. No, I got to the short. Sorry, this is also worth noting. Way later than I wanted to here. Out of the short, was not able to get filled. Again, I don't trade Tyra to Dara. But then I was like, you know, one of the biggest things I've always said was, I will trade if I have like real confidence in the level. I should take it. I want to be confident. Again, the first short, whatever, did not manage it appropriately. But then, still not whatever. We're going to aggressively journal. Okay, like I trade my sim trades just as seriously as I take my like live trades, and I've always said that, and that's I think why I spent so long in the sim, because I really wanted to make sure I felt comfortable. But that's not the point. The point is I got long 561s. Then I added. I got like a good, nice little hunk of shares 961s. Then I added about a fifth of what the original position was here at 561.10s. My goal was to add at every 10-cent level. I'm now risking, initially I was risking to 560.80s, and I was risking to 560.80s because that was the level on the book and the chart that we had a bit of a wiffle waffle with. I'm now risking into 560.90s, so I'm risking only 10 cents, 12 cents on this average position. I would love to see us make a higher high. I'd love to see us clear that 561.10, Sharif, and then blast off, because if we clear it, I will keep adding a scintilla of shares at every 10-cent level. Now you might be like, Adara, where's the ceiling here? Where do you want to be getting out? Look at that 561.45 that we wicked into all prettily. If we can get there, I want the smoke. I'm sorry I'm yelling, but these markets are so fun, and you gotta treat them with the respect they deserve. And I honestly, like I said, feel like I have not been respecting these here markets as much as I should have been lately. As we push lower, I get out of, we're gonna get filled here. Let's see, getting out of this here trade. Please, I can't say please just punch. I was gonna say please just punch on autopilot, but not super pleased to punch without trading. Lots of reflection to be done, but continuing to watch these SPY levels. I find the SPY waffling around 561 to be really interesting. Someone was asking, I think it was Easy Trader, about Reddit. Reddit can be a bit of an interesting name to trade there. I would not say Reddit is an easy name to trade. Shout out to Easy Trader. Shout out to JC as I pull up the Reddit chart.
JC Peretz?
Not JC Peretz, but JC in the chat. Hey, Adara, I see you entered the short and SPY right as the bear exhaustion candle ended. Now it pumps back up. I'm just sharing because I'm learning too. Thank you, I appreciate that, JC, and that's why I journal. I do a lot of aggressive journaling because I want to learn. So shout out to you, JC. And as I said this to Sharif, and I say this all the time in the chat. What I love is we're all of different experience levels. That's why I'm always really honest about my L's. There have been a lot of L's lately, but that's why I think we can all kind of learn together, right? As 21 Savage says, you want to take less L's, make more M's. Maybe going live today was the mistake, but I still stand by wanting to try, especially when some of my stocks that I love were all in play. Easy Trader wanting to know what I think about a Reddit 60-30 break. It's now broken down. So I guess, unfortunately, I wasn't able to answer that fast enough. But look where we bounce into. We get a pushback. Ooh. Look at that 59.60s. That was a bit of a little teeny tiny baby candle. Then we push higher. We bounce. Then okay, well, now we're quadruking lower. But I think if we can hold up around that 59.60, that's not a bad level. That being said, I think our break up opportunity from 60s might be pretty far going there. That would be my take on Reddit. But yeah, Reddit, forget it. Whatever happens there, let's just
set it and forget it.
Yeah.
What was that from? Set it and forget it. It was an infomercial, Adara. It was for like a kitchen.
I didn't have much cable when I was a kid.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're lucky, actually, because of a lot of pollution. Mind pollution. All right, let's talk about the 2-year auction, Adara, because we're 3 minutes away from said 2-year auction. Very important auction. I'm going to submit to you here the shorter end of the yield curve, i.e. the 2-year. It's always compared to the federal funds rate, and now there is a spread, a widening spread, 2% plus spread between the 2-year yield and the overnight rate for the Fed. People saying that that's not a sustainable spread that can continue to go on. Hence, I'm very interested to see how this yield comes out. Currently trading the 2-year RAM at 3.891, hanging out around below 4%. As you can see, we topped out at 4.8 or thereabouts. And since that time, we've been doing lower lows and lower highs. Obviously, this is the outlying day over here on the market. That's Black Monday or whatever everybody is calling it now. We dipped into 3.6, but we obviously got bought up at right above 4. But look what happened since we printed that 3.6. We're rounding, and technical analysis works on yields, crypto, everything, Forex. You guys know that, right? So when I do an analysis on the chart, on the yields, it has nothing to do with my fundamental understanding of these yields. So we're doing basically around the top where this crest over here on August 5th has been followed by lower lows and lower highs on every subsequent candle, and like keeping below the 20 exponential, below 4%. So I'm very interested to see how the market receives the 2-year auction. We'll find out very shortly, obviously right now, but the local trend has been to move a little bit lower. So the 2-year coming up in about a couple of minutes, and as I typically do, I ask you guys if you get the result of the auction. For whatever reason, I always get it like really delayed, and so if you're able to apprise me of how it went, I'd be thankful for that. Shout out to Brian Flores, says 1 minute until the auction. Trib says it just dumped, says Scott Edwards. Yeah, it did, and that's why I didn't want to go long, my man. Look at this. Just not a good look with this. You could tell. I mean, there's reasons why people use the pre-market high as a gauge, right? With these small cap gappers, it's anemic. It reclaimed VWAP, but it was never really in any sort of threatening position to the long side here. Let me tell you something else. So I've been whiffling and waffling about this 420 level, the pre-market high on TRIB, but I'm also interested in this 350 level. Let me tell you why. It is the pre-market area consolidation low. So if we weasel our way above this area, which should theoretically act as a little bit of resistance, it'll be interesting here to see if we can, work our way through 4, then maybe ultimately take out that pre-market high at 420. So TRIB, good look. Not one that I'm going to trade on the day, but certainly in play at the moment. Absolutely. Just allow me a second here to set it up. I'll send it to you for a sec while I set up for the read.
Yes, let's read. But also, we just made a joke about Reddit and forget it, which some people were saying had to do with a food dehydrator.
There
that was it.
Set it and forget it.
So set it and forget it, but also met it and forget it. Ooh. Oh, hi, Randy.
Randy. I like how
are
they
you doing,
do that.
Randy?
It's awesome.
I like how I don't know what's happening with those bears. I'm kind of concerned about one of their heads. But, oh, there they are. Randy's the same. Oh, never mind. Now they're taking turns being suffocated by one another. Shout out to the puppets and shout out to Randy, who's just,
Oh, okay.
No, I was going to say something else to them. Oh. There we go. That's cute. They're having a bit of a date. Oh. A little bit. Oh, okay. Now they're done. They're like, you guys are looking at us to us. There's Randy and his little friends there. Shout out to Randy. Speaking of Randy, how's Tesla doing? Tesla here is still hanging out here around that 210 level. Support here around 209. Bit of a lower high. You know what? Tesla, if we break 209, I like that look. We're waiting on that reauction here, guys. Meta, though, at 520. That was what I meant to say here earlier. And then I was looking at Randy and the bull puppets or the bears. But 520 here on Meta. If we break that down, I want that short. Also, though, I like Tesla 209. It'll really depend on what fighter I choose here, because honestly, I'm kind of tempted to go with either or. So both the SPY and the Qs hanging out at kind of interesting support resistance levels. SPY here at 560.80. We've got the Qs here, 476.23s. I will be seeing if we got that reauction or the auction to which to react. And I will shout if I see that. But also, we're going to thank our lovely friends here that bring you the afternoon segment, which we have in an hour. So vote for your tickers. Exclamation. Yeah, I'm going to do that in a second here. But exclamation point, join space, $ ticker. Thank you very much to JC for the $10 super chat. Good vibes tagging me at Adara LePage. By the way, do you guys follow Stoicism? Trading and investing has given me opportunities to really practice Stoic virtues. Fun fact. I actually did a lot of research once for a writing project on Stoicism, so I find I know a lot about it. I know a lot about the philosophers. It's not one that I particularly follow a lot, but I know the Marcus Aurelius approach, that type of thing. We had a lot of Seneca the Younger as well, a lot of those philosophers way back in Crete and ancient Greece and all of that. Really interesting philosophy. And you know what? I agree with what you have to say about having to do with trading. I want to do some more reading on that. Shout out to you, JC, giving me lots of food for thought. Shout out to the philosophers, giving you all the food for thought.
There you go. Real trading. All right, attention Canadian traders. The Real Trading Campus program is back. Are you ready to elevate your game? Our exclusive program is designed to transform you into a real trader. Dive deep into the market microstructure and explore diverse marketplaces and master professional execution techniques. We'll focus on U.S. equities, starting with a carefully curated stock list to optimize your learning. As you progress, though, you'll gain access to an expanded range of symbols. From order types to venue exploration, we've got you covered. This isn't about chasing high flyers. Who trades those? It's about building a solid foundation for long-term success. Don't miss this opportunity to join our upcoming cohort and take your trading to the next level. And I just want to say, guys, real trading, real deal. Real trading, real deal.
Real deal, Neil. Also, guys, auction, real deal auction. 3.874% for the 2-year note, high yield versus the estimates here of versus the previous of 4.434. So again, actual here, 3.874%. Previous, 4.434. Shout out to Financial Do, saw that number there. Also shout out to Day Trader Cut for dropping that over there in this market. Also, JC saying that apparently revenge trading is also one thing you can kind of quell with stoicism. So I definitely excited to go back to my old notes that I had there on stoicism. Meta, try to crack below 520. Meta, do you want me to short you? Meta, I'll short you. One thing I've always said is the more yourself you are, the better your trading goes. I feel obviously, there are setbacks to that, but if you trust yourself, if you just go with what you're seeing, and if you're fully awake and you take your trades, I think that could always be really helpful. We're kind of consolidating here on the book as we get to 520. I don't like the higher lows in the bid, but I do like the lower highs in the ask. We're going to get short here, 220.11s. We're going to risk here into 520.50s. We got filled, Sharif. So we're going to be taking some profit if we get to 519.50s. I am risking 50 cents. I'm okay making 60 cents for the... okay, we're going to drop here, Sharif. Let's see if we get that drop on that bid there and the drop on the ask. Because you know how much smoke I want?
A lot.
Significant amount of smoke, Sharif.
I like
good amount of smoke. So let's see here. This is the previous area we chopped and turned around here at 519.50. Definitely, I know this is a sim trade, but we're going to trade it with the same kind of seriousness that it deserves. If it was a live trade, that's what you got to do here in these markets. And that's why I'm always really honest about, the highs, the lows, the ups and downs. Shout out to Chance the Rapper because, this market's going to give you all of that. But that's why you have to stay stoic. Don't be in your feels. Sorry, Drake, but we don't want to be in our feelings. We want to be focusing on what these markets are giving us over here.
I didn't really get a read from this last auction at all.
Right? It just kind of
read at all.
It kind of...
Yeah. I'm unsure what to make of this. Okay, so we were trading a little bit higher. Thank you, Adam, by the way, for throwing that in the chat. Obviously, Adira covered it, but thank you very much. 3.874, okay? We were trading before the auction got released at 3.9. So technically a little bit lower of a print. That's the comparator, guys. Actually, I was looking at the continuous contract, so my read may not be exact. The reason I use a continuous contract is obviously for continuity, but it's the August 30th contract, I think, that we're still using. Are we still using the August 30th contract? Let me just double check real quick here. Futures, there is a September 30th, but no, it's the continuous contract on August 30th that's being used there. So we're moving down right now, 3.888s right now on the 2-year. So I didn't really see a market reaction here to give me a bias one way or another. All I see, though, if I had to choose a bias, is NVIDIA curling back up. It's putting in higher lows and higher highs. It's obviously got a seller at 128.50. You can see that depicted by the triple top intraday, obviously, starting at 12.35, so the better part of half an hour. Here we go again with the $0.50 on NVDA. Do we break this time? It's looking like a rounded bottom, right, where we obviously bottomed out with this candle here at 11.40. Successively, though, we've been putting in higher lows and higher highs, still having issues with that $0.50. Behooves me to load this up on a trading screen, but I think it's distorted by the... Oh, my monitor went out. I'm panicking, Adair.
Oh, my God. That was still so funny that I'm panicking day. Because I didn't even realize that was why you were panicking until later.
No.
Now, if anyone missed that show, it's Sharif is... I have to shout you out for your sense of humor, your ability to laugh. You got to laugh at stuff, right? Because... yeah, shout out to the Sharif, I'm panicking, which I would love to be a meme. It's
still rejecting it, Adair. 128.50. I didn't have a look at the book to see what kind of size was hanging out around the $0.50, but you can basically tell that there is a seller of importance at that level, given the umpteen amount of rejection, and umpteen, I mean 3, rejections on this name. And guys, it's traded 190 million shares, right?
Only?
So, yeah, I know, but still a lot. I know, it's for NVIDIA,
I'm trying to be sarcastic.
Subdued, yeah.
That was my attempt at sarcasm, but I don't think it really worked.
No, because, this one can push 300 million. It could push $250,000 sometimes, right?
Probably will on Thursday.
Yeah. So this 128.5, I'm all eyes and ears about. I have a bit of a bias long, But if we reject 128.5 and we come back down, breach 128, then we're looking at an interesting move down here. So I'm going to pack my patience on this name. I like the NVIDIA long at these levels. The future, though, not giving me the confidence to really pile into NVIDIA because the future is a little bit harder to read. You could make the argument that this 19650, kind of similar, not the same level right now though, but kind of similar to this 128.50 on NVIDIA in the sense that they're both areas there after the retracement down that we're unable to breach above on any consistent base or at all. All right, NVIDIA is above the $0.50 now. Okay, so here we go. Now zigging and zagging here. Does it hold the $0.50? Does it dip into the $0.50? I'm going long over here on NVIDIA. We'll look to wetter beak possibly at 69s. The out is going to be the break of 40. So you're going to have to give this one a little bit of room, sadly. And so we're going to put this in over here and then see if it holds the $0.50. Below the $0.50 right now with zigging and zagging. We'll see if it can reclaim the $0.50. No big size coming in at the $0.50, but it's not getting that parabolic move continuously up. It did breach it, but not by that much. We're long at 54s. I will be looking to wet my beak in the high 60s, but ultimately, obviously, you want to see a 129 retracement, right? 128.98, that's a high of day. So you want to see something a little bit closer to that. I'm sorry, guys, for the distortions. When I send it back to Adair, I can fix some of these dark pool wicks, but you'll just have to take my word for it right now that we are kind of putting in a rounded bottom seller at 54 over here. The area that I got in, interesting. So a bigger seller at that 54 penny area. Let's look at 55s. Here comes 54s again. Do we breach? All right, 58's now showing up. Now, can we get a little bit above that into 60s? So continuity here, a little tough for NVDA as the future's kind of whiffling and waffling. All right, let's see if we can breach 60. Seller, big seller at 60. All right, so we're into the mid 60s at these levels. Can we continue here on NVDA? It's up 1 2/3. It's nothing to write home about, but it's a nice pattern that we can kind of gauge this rounded bottom pattern. Adair, I'm going to send it to you while I just fix some of these wicks.
Yeah, no worries. I am in meta still. I want to show Rivian Miller saying meta could go higher. I fully understand, like I fully could. You know, you do have some bullish in some of these futures. I want to shout out your amazing NVIDIA trade. As you always say to me, I hope you print.
Thank you, Adair.
I do hope you print NVIDIA. As Sharif and I were saying to each other off camera, because we really are not joking. We vibe off camera too. Sharif was saying, you know, I hope you print like a printer. And I was like, I love that. Also, shout out to HPQ, which reports tomorrow night. In all seriousness, we love to bring things back to leisure markets. Speaking of these markets, though, yeah, Rivian Millionaire, I do agree meta could push higher. The reason I liked it, though, as a short was like I said, tire trade rules, which I still try to follow when I'm in the sim because I still want to be taking quality trades. This was a stock I'd been looking at earlier. This is a stock I've been looking at for the last few days. This is a stock that I like at this 520 level. I had 2 trades on meta yesterday, both of them off the 520, both of which worked out. So I feel good about my read on this level. I also liked what we were doing on the book. Now, do I love this weird little doji here with a slightly higher low? But I'm basically flat. When I say flat in this, because with the bid and the ask spread on meta, you got to be aware of that. Slightly out of the money, like 10 cents now here on meta. When you take the spread into consideration, 10, 11 cents. But I'm not going to get out until I see what we do here at 50s. I'm willing to give this 40 cents because with meta, you want to, like I said, trying to make minimum 60 cents here on the meta one. So let's see what we do here if we get into that 519.50. Then I would love to see if that meta platforms can take that train down to 519s, which is an area we had some chip chop. What's the other stock I'm looking at right now? Yeah, I know there's going to be roasting, there's going to be laughs. Still looking at Lilly. Now, I knew that 957 level would be of interest. Did I play it correctly? Clearly, I did not. There, you know, you got to laugh at it. Like I said, my issue with Lilly, the reason I got shut down on that Lilly trade is because I had a tired moment. I forgot what direction I was in, and I didn't get out appropriately. No excuses, though. You got to keep pushing, and I'm just trying to say, like, I still feel okay about these levels. If we get back above the 957 decisively, I will go long Lilly because we can't even get back to 956 now. Look at the way we recovered here at this 951. This is nuts recovery. Look at that base. Look at that climb back to the upside. So I still have eyes on Lilly as a long, but right now I'm going to focus on my Meta trade because that's what matters. You said you wanted to clean up some of the things there. Yeah. How are you going in NVIDIA?
I wet my beak there on a 15 pennies super quick. Now waiting in the high 70s, see if we can wet our beak on some more profits over here. But you look, NVIDIA's strong. and I don't really need to look at the percentage change on the day to see it. It's putting in higher lows, and it's doing that rounded bottom. And it had a clearly defined area, that 128.50. We've been whiffling, we've been waffling at for the better part of, about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. The question is here, does the future hold up enough to give NVIDIA an opportunity to come into those highs a day? Right, and that's really going to be the question. So we're going to pack our patience. The stop's in play. The beak wetter is in play. Everything's done. It's just about whether it manifests to the high side or the low side. Not much for me to do at this point other than just basically wait. But I got to tell you, I'm a little pessimistic about the odds of this one touching the high a day, at least before power hour. And that's because of this reason. There is clearly selling here on the NQ September dang contract at 19,650, right? This is, the future's fantastic with the 100-point levels and closing prints, etc. But you don't really see too much in the way of support and resistance at 50-point levels, at least I don't. And this one is kind of one of those exceptions because we've been working our way in multiple times now, especially off VWAP, especially off VWAP right now in the closing print are basically one in the same. We've been really using it as a range. So to the downside, 19,590 or essentially 19,600 in and around that area. To the high side, 19,650. So if that continues to be the case, I don't think NVIDIA will break the high a day. So we're going to pack our patience. We get stopped out, but I'd like ideally here to be able to weasel up a little bit. Apple also weaseling its way up, Ram, because it's got a bit of a bid here for whatever reason, coming through 228, but still below that 228.25. And the reason I mentioned the $0.25 because it's featured on the day, both as support and resistance. Look at this area from 1020 all the way to 1055. 228.25. Absolutely a resistance level there. Then we clear it. We work our way up almost into 229, not quite. But we use 228.25 again, but this time as support. Now we're using it as resistance again. And we have been essentially since breaking down below it at 1220. So almost an hour now, 228.25 acting as resistance on Le Pomme. So we'll keep, the apple for all my Americans who don't know French and probably not missing much. But, that's the look there.
Have you seen my last name?
I know.
Have you seen my last name?
I did that on purpose.
I know you did. That was why I was pretty quick. Right? No, you waited a while too. You just sat there. And I was waiting for the reaction. I was like, that was pretty good. Shout out to.
I know you're obviously Adara's got Quebecois lineage, so shout out to her.
Thank you.
I'm kidding, obviously.
There's a super chat also for you.
Who?
From Hey Davis.
Hey Davis. Sorry about these dark pool wicks. So did that move really happen? If so, was it just a bust stop, sir? Look, no, dark pool wicks means, that these, I got stopped out of NVIDIA, by the way, as it did break the $0.50. Dark pool wicks essentially are trades that take place off the lit market. They don't take place necessarily right now, usually some other time, but they get reported now. So they get reported at a time where the price has deviated from the actual print by so much. For example, when I fixed this 128.5 area on NVIDIA, the dark pool took us down into the low 120s. So that print got executed at a time when NVIDIA was trading around that level, but just got reported now. Don't ask me to explain why they show up, but they have to, according to the regulator. All the prints have to be depicted on the chart. And so that's kind of distorting a little bit, but that's what it is. I don't want you to think that, I'm bamboozling you or anything like that. It's really beyond my control. So thank you for that super chat, though, and I think it's appropriate so that we could explain to everybody exactly what these dark pool prints are all about. All right, let's have a look here at some small cap gappers. Let's bring in this one. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot in these markets, guys. I got to tell you right now, they're in small cap gapper, old Ram. I've got the big
small cap recap was hard today.
The small cap recap. Oh, Vox, though, Adara just made a move there. Let's load up VOX. We'll take off OGEN because it's doing like no volume. VOXX, double X on this one. All right, so this one is up 65% on the day. Adara got into that 5.5 but, you know, true to form, like with some of these small cap gappers, broke down below VWAP. The latest move is it's working its way back into VWAP, but initial reaction is a rejection of the volume weighted average price. I'm very interested on this name. If the volume, as you can see here, starts picking up, we got about 1 million shares on 1.2 million shares on this 5-minute candle, and we break above and hold above the volume weighted average price. This gives me a good trade. Now, as you can see, there's no definable pre-market high to prevent me from taking this as a long. So the only thing that I'm really looking for here on VOXX is a break and hold above the volume weighted average price. I'll absolutely look to take it long there. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it sets up, but this one looking good. Let me give you the deets. $106 million market cap, 103 million shares traded on the day. They are an international manufacturer and distributor in automotive electronics, consumer electronics, and biometrics industries. Their float, 11.1 million shares, and let's bring down trade ideas and shout out the NOS boss and his crew over there. 0.71% of the float is shorted, so basically negligible and nothing really to write home about there. So VOXX on watch here as it works its way back into the volume weighted average price. It's the #1 gap scanner for me now on the day, up 65% and up 21.5% since the bell rung, though. We'll have to get above VWAP for me to get interested, but it behooves me to put this up on a trading screen. Oh, NVIDIA, you little punk. It took me out. Specialist breakdown took me up below the $0.50.
Oh,
now it's weaseling its way through true to form. That's kind of normal around here. Let's load up VOXX and keep an eye on this bad boy. It is now above VWAP here. All right, as you can see, the tape is really moving here. The book is moving because a lot of people are thinking the same way I am, right? VWAP is an important level here for these small cap gappers. So let's see if this is a quick wick and then right back down into the low day we go, or can we claim VWAP here on a closing basis? That $5 is not far away from where we're trading right now, Adair.
Guys, if there's any tickers you want to see, get in the chat, ! join space, $ that ticker. You actually only have 30 minutes left to do so. The segment is brought to you by our lovely sponsors and friends at Real Trading. If you want to know what Sean and Neil would have really traded or what they did really trade, find out there, get into that chat, let us know. For, if you got any confidence in anything, if you want to know what Sean had confidence in or confidence in, if you want to know what was on the sticky note, whatever, guys, get in that chat, pick those tickers. And it is also fun, too, because, sometimes people will be like, oh, it's always kind of the same tickers. It doesn't have to be. It's your guys' segment. So if there's any tickers you want to look at, I would definitely put those in there. There's a lot of non-small caps there. I saw someone asking about Kava. I said, I think Kava holding that higher highs, higher lows pretty well as it continues to push higher. So keep an eye on Kava here. For the record, as we do this lesson, I will be looking at, I have 2 books, order books that I'll be looking at intermittently as we do this lesson. I am still in Meta. I do appreciate everyone in the chat saying Meta's going higher. And I think one of the biggest things I've learned that's gotten me in trouble with live trades, and part of why I went in the sim for a bit, though I did have to, try live today, went back in the sim. The reason that I was struggling is because I was not having conviction in my own trades. And so I think with that in mind, I do have conviction in Meta with these lower highs and these bit of a flat bottom. I'm aware it can go against me, but I'm risking here into 520.50s. If we get at that level, I'll get out. Also, I have Eli Lilly on watch here. I liked how we're trying to hold that 956 level. If we hold 957, I'm going long, risking 956. So that's the deal there with my trades. Shout out to confidence and shout out to conviction. Speaking of confidence, I see Sean over there ready to get on that screen there in 39 minutes. So make sure you're voting for the tickers. They have something to look at here. Let's talk about money flow index. So how do you understand the MFI? The money flow index is a momentum oscillator that measures the strength of buying or selling pressure in the market. So gives you a sense of buyers, sellers, how everyone is interacting in the lovely market that we interact with every single day or every single weekday. So unlike other momentum indicators, which as we've talked about pretty extensively recently, will focus primarily on price action, however, the MFI will take into account both price and volume. Volume, definitely a key indicator. So let's get into this. What is the money? Here's an example here of the money flow index. So you've got the price action. You also have here the money flow index. We can see areas where we're getting a little bit higher here, a little bit lower. Gives you a sense of how money is flowing in and out of these tickers in addition to that here price. So let's talk about how we're calculating the money flow index. So the MFI is calculated using a 14-period 4-up. That's cool. considering both the negative and the positive money flow. So positive money flow is going to be occurring when the closing price is higher than the previous period's closing price. So negative money flow occurs when the closing price is lower. I'd love to see some of these for like when we had the SPY and Q breaking new all-time highs all the time. That'd be really interesting. I want to look into these. The math nerd in me is getting excited. So speaking of math nerds, here's the calculation of the MFI. So you've got typical price, so that'll be the low and the high and the close divided by 3. And we know these are also some areas of price Sharif talks about a lot. Shout out to low, high, and close.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure this is probably interesting little thing for you as well here, the money flow. Then we have the raw money flow, which is volume times the typical price. Then you've got the money ratio, which is going to be 14-period positive money flow divided by the 14-period negative money flow. And the money flow index is going to be this whole fun little formula. So you can look that up as well, or we can also take it through for you. As a math nerd, I'm really excited to get into the money flow index a little bit more. And also the one we talked about yesterday there, that ratio. So interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So many interesting things here in the market. I really want to shout out to Sharif for coming up with these awesome lessons.
Appreciate it.
So let's talk about, appreciate you. Let's talk about interpreting the MFI though, now that we've yapped to death about the math of it. So overbought and oversold levels are worth noting because the MFI is typically considered overbought above 80 and oversold below 20. However, these levels can vary depending on market conditions, as can a lot of this market, right? It's always going to depend on market conditions. Divergence, though, occurs when you've got the MFI diverging from a price, and that can signal a potential reversal. We know usually divergences do kind of signal some type of reversal. It can be a little bit of a sign that, hey, things aren't right. Maybe the long and the short are going to be switching it up. I want to be aware. I want to be in the know. I want to be knowing. So, yeah, good times there. So that can be, like, if you've got the price making new highs, MFI making new lows, that could be bearish. If you've got the opposite, that could be bullish. So here's examples of overbought, oversold divergence. You've got the push up here in the market, right? But look at this push low here in this money flow index. Push lower in the price, then we get to oversold, at which point the price is a beautiful little look up. But then we have overbought. What happens to the price? We move to the downside. But how often? Because we have a little bit of move down in the price, a little bit move up here in the money flow index. This might not be a move you would have caught without looking that M to the F to the I. So I think that's a really great look. Let's talk as well here about how you can use the MFI for trading, because like we're traders here.
Right?
Isn't that what matters?
I think so.
You may ask. I'm pretty sure. 97% sure. But how do you use the MFI for trading then? You want to identify overbought and oversold conditions. So MFI can be used to identify potential reversal points when the market's overbought or oversold, and it can also help you confirm trends, right? So if you got a rising MFI, that can confirm an uptrend. But a falling MFI can, confirm a little bit of a downtrend. You want to be aware of these. Also, identifying divergences is huge because if you've got the divergence between the MFI and the price index, as we discussed, or the price, sorry, not the index, that can signal potential reversal in this year market. Let's talk about confirming trend. You've got your move down here in the market. Then you have a price decrease, which is confirmed by this big old to the downside here in the money flow index. Then we're oversold. That's when you want to start looking for buying opportunities. Look at this. Look at a higher low. Oh, buying opportunity. What does the MFI give you? Better step to the upside, much like the price. Then you've got this price increase confirmed by the increase in the money flow. You know things might happen higher. So let's talk about here as well the MFI versus the ROC, the ROC, the rate of change we talked about yesterday. Shout out to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So they're both going to be momentum oscillators. They're also both used to identify overbought and oversold conditions and potential reversals. However, there's some differences between them.
Okay.
So one of them is focus, Sharif, right? So MFI focuses on both the price and the volume, but the ROC is only going to be looking at the price. The calculation is different as well because the MFI will use a 14-period formula that considers the positive and negative money flow, but the ROC is calculated on a percentage change in price over a specific period. Also with the ROC, you choose your period. That's one thing I said I thought was really cool about the ROC. You can choose what period you want to use on it. Sensitivity is also worth noting because the MFI is, interestingly enough, very sensitive to volume, whereas the ROC is going to be a little bit more sensitive to those price movements, and so that's one thing to be aware of as well. How do you understand the relationship between the MFI and the volume? Because we said MFI is more sensitive to volume, right? What the heck does that mean? We'll try to tell you here. So they're closely related, and so the MFI will measure buying and selling pressure based on price and volume. So volume will indicate the amount of activity in the market, and then the price action, of course, is were we up, were we down. So by combining the MFI with that volume analysis, or yawn analysis, traders can get a better sense here of understanding market dynamics. So divergence here, let's look at confirming MFI signals with divergence. So if you've got the MFI indicating overbought or oversold, but the volume's high, that could suggest a continued trend because it doesn't matter what this index is saying. Buyers are still coming in full force, so we might push higher. Convergence, though, that's worth noting too. Because let's say you've got an MFI indicating an overbought or oversold condition, but the volume's low. That could be a sign of a little bit of a reversal because the volume is ultimately going to be king. That's how many players are involved, right? So you want to know how many players are hanging out with those price actions beyond what we see with the MFI. What about identifying accumulation and distribution? So if you've got the price declining but the MFI on the rise, that can help indicate accumulation, which would suggest to you that the buyers are gradually accumulating that here asset, in which case that could be something to note there for you for sure. And then you want to be maybe, figuring out your play. Distribution worth noting here as well. When you've got the price rising with the MFI falling, that could indicate distribution, which suggests that the sellers are gradually selling their positions. And again, if you're either long or trying to go short, you want to know what the players are doing, right? You want to be able to see that accumulation or that distribution. You also want to be able to set trading targets. So volume-based targets, this is really interesting and not something I was really necessarily aware of. Based on the volume that you've got accompanying your breakout there or the breakdown, you could help set price targets. So, for example, if you've got a breakout occurring in high volume, the target could be the previous high because you know, hey, we're going to get that push up. We're going to get that volume. I have to know where I might strike next. So that's really cool. Also, what about managing risk here? Which is something we could all, I know I can do better. It's something we're trying to do better every single day. How volume-based stop losses is not something I would have considered, but deeply, deeply, deeply interesting. So traders can use volume here to set dynamic stop losses. So for example, you could have a stop loss placed a few ticks below the previous low on a day with high volume. So you know, hey, this is a day that buyers or sellers were interested. So this is a day that I know there might be some players looking at these price levels and then their hills. I want to be involved. So basically, the money flow index is a valuable tool for technical analysis, but they're always tools. They're not going to be rules. So you want to see the balance of the evidence, all the different confirmation. Also, I did get stopped out of Meta, and then when we got to 520.50, and then Meta just wicked there, didn't get that high again. I also want to shout out here Saad Mahmood in the chat saying it's important to stick to your plan. Any up trick or down trick should not scare you to a valid trade. I agree. That's why I stuck with Meta. Shout out to anybody though who's long Meta. I know some people in the chat were long Meta. Happy I stuck with my plan, and that's honestly why I have no shame about how the trades went earlier today because I stand by all of them. And shame is an emotion. We don't want emotion in trading. Shout out to Alfred and his dad. You want to be dead inside. So I'm honestly in a great mood always, no matter what the market is telling you. Shout out to Shreve. We were talking about that in camera. I love the markets, whether or not, I'm up, down, or all around because the markets give you so many opportunities every day. Yeah. What don't you love? If there's any opportunities you want to hear about in this new segment sponsored to you by Real Trading, do you want to see Shreve gesticulate wildly? Do you want to have Sean and Neil talk about tickers? Get in that chat. Exclamation point join space $ ticker. That being said, all you meta heads, I might actually join you in this long because I like how we're holding that 520.50. Apologize that I know I was in the short for a bit, but I'm going to risk this into 520.20s. I like this long. Hopefully all the meta heads will allow me into your club.
Come on, meta heads.
Your Zuckerberg train there. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm long NVIDIA at the moment. I was able to take 15 pennies on this. I've moved down my stop now because I'd like to give it a bit of room to break through possibly 129. The future is not at highs, but it's close to highs. NVIDIA is 10 pennies right now from the high of day. It's 98. It's 128.98, but really it's 129. Okay, we've seen 130 come and go a lot, so I'm not, in love with this 129 as a real resistance level. I think that 130 really is the real resistance level. Intraday, it could be anything. We'll see. Up into 192s. I'm looking for a break of the whole dollar. There is orders stacked every level. 94 has a stack. 95 has a stack. I'm looking at 97s has a stack. So there's a whole bunch of size here before we break that whole dollar. We're inching in though to the whole dollar. 97's printing here. Let's see if we can weasel up the 98. 98 on the book right now. Adair 99s. Let's go, baby. Let's see if we can print above that 128. I'm not covering at 128. I'll let it come back down. I'd like to hold a little bit here just to practice. Don't let it off the hook, says the
Keep boxing that thing.
Yeah. I love it, bro. Yeah, that's exactly what I need to hear. Thank you, Sean. So we're going to let this one go, and if we get stopped out to the downside, then we got stopped out. That's the name of the game. All right, the future did curl up nicely off that 19.6 drop. It is not breaking the high of the day. The high of the day on the NQ September contract 19.694, essentially 19.7. Okay, but we are putting a bit of a topping tail right now through that 19.6 3/4. It looks like we did move up into 81s. Now, if we bottom out, or sorry, if we top out here, that is a lower high, right? And then that could set us up for a double top with a 19.6 break as the real level where we get flushed. So keep your eye out possibly here on the future for possible double top or failure of a 19.7 take or a failure of a high day take, and then all eyes out, sorry, I should say, at that 19.6 volume weighted average price level for a move down. So that's what I'm looking for here. I'm involved in NVIDIA. You know, I don't want to put too much stock into one 5-minute candle on the NQ September contract, but, you know, I need something off which to base. So I'm going to give this one to the 60s, and if it goes into the 60s and stops me out, so be it. But I'm going to let this one cook. Now, what is cooking right now? Not just NVIDIA, baby, MSFT. Look at the recovery on Microsoft. What a gnarly double bottom. Yeah, Adira, off 410.50, 410-ish. Now it's worked its way up here through 413. The break-even level on the day between green and red is 413.5. So we're about 50 pennies away from that right now, with the obvious double top completion being a break of that 414 and a third and a move up whatever into whatever 415 or whatever there is above that. Okay, so good recovery today on MSFT. Still though, technically a lower high off this main area over here at 414 and change. So we'll see what we get with MSFT. Packing my patience, but it looks like it's the strongest one of the Mag 7 right now. Even Apple topping tail right now, 228.5. Google's been dead for days now. Someone needs to give this thing, need a defibrillator or something up in that. But yeah, Google's been dead money the last couple of days. Right now, topping tail on NVIDIA. This could be a short, guys. This could be a short here on NVIDIA if we break down like this. So this is what we were talking about, possible double top, hence why I de-risked. Let's see if we get stopped out. I'm going to let it go all the way down. Okay, so it will have to stop me out for me to get out of this position. We're going to pack our patience right now. What's everybody else saying? Rogers, lots of emotion today. Yeah, I bet. It's just that's how these markets are, baby. You know, especially when we've got the monster NVIDIA reporting tomorrow. So obviously, you know, mixed feelings about that. But if you're listening to the analyst, everybody's expecting this thing to beat and then some. And if you want, you know, you can kind of look back and think about all the interviews that Jensen did. Remember that sit down that he had with Zuck? And when Zuck said, oh yeah, I got stopped out of NVIDIA there.
Remember when they switched jackets?
Yeah, I like that. But the reason I was mentioning that is because remember Zuck had bought about 250,000 H100s so far, a little bit more. And he basically committed, well, I don't know, he didn't sign or anything like that, but he said with Jensen on the stage that he was looking about buying 450,000 more. That's just meta. That is just meta. And we know Apple didn't buy any H100s, but how long does that last for? Do they continue to buy these TPUs, or are they weaseling in some H100s under the table that we don't know about? So I'm very interested to see how many H100s are going to sell in light of the fact that the B, the Blackwell, the B, there's the GWB and there's the B, are going to be delayed. But that's okay, it seems like for the moment, because the demand for the H100, the Hopper, is still high. So people are still happy to use the Hopper. So many different questions to be asked about this. A lot of that's going to be disclosed not in the earnings report that you get at whatever 405, 410, 415, but in the earnings call and the questions that reporters put to him. So lots of unanswered stuff. I'm really interested, obviously, in NVIDIA earnings tomorrow because microchips are such a big catalyst on the day. Oh my goodness, Adara, look at Softy. Softy's strong. Something's afoot here. Here we go. We're about to go green on the soft one. 413.5. We're yapping about Softy, catching a bid through 413. There's the $0.50 touch right there, and that's what separates us between green and red on the day. To break, though, to complete this double top, I should say, we need a 414 and a third break and take on a closing basis, and then Softy's in Greensville here. So interesting. Rivian, I repeat, Sharif, MSFT, Meta, etc. all know if they buy NVIDIA chips and pump NVIDIA company, their stock will also rise. Look, you're entitled to your opinion. Absolutely. I respect what you have to say, Rivian millionaire. But, you know, I get what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense. John Del Segno, Microsoft blast mode. Absolutely, we're yapping about Microsoft for a hot minute right now. Day trader cut, let's go. All right, guys, there's 12 minutes left for you guys to vote. I want to remind you guys the big kahunas are ready to look at the tickers as decided by you, but only the 5 top tickers make it on. Every day, it feels like for the last week and a half, it's been NVIDIA on the top of the ticker
but
list.
But there have been some different ones. Like, people have not just been choosing Meg 7 days.
Yes, fair.
I think people have been diversifying their portfolios.
I was just about to say that I don't think I'd be upset if it was NVIDIA today, given that earnings are tomorrow.
Would anyone?
Yeah.
Nah.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, get into the chat right now, guys. Vote for your favorite tickers. I know Christian, he wants to talk about JPM. He said it looks weak. Go into the chat, Christian. Vote for JPM. JP Morgan. Vader Trader wants to talk about Vox. I got stopped out a little bit there on Vox. I wet my beak. Get into the chat right now, Vader Trader, and vote for Vox. Let's see what else. Elon is talking about Nike. He says, long live Nike. I guess you're doing well on it today, Elon. Elon, get into the chat, my man. Vote for NKE and Vin Duong. Tesla and SMCI are sleeping today. Well, maybe you shouldn't vote for them then. Well, no, SMCI was obviously volatile in the pre-market. Get into the chat right now, guys. Vote every day, and the big kahunas will look at your tickers.
Yeah, I'm like, we're doing well here on this Netflix trade in the sim.
Bang.
I want to say, too, like, I tried to go live again today, and I understand why I did that. There are 2 tickers I really like, and I trade a lot that we're moving that I want to take advantage of. But it's like, that definitely, in retrospect, that was trading for P&L, the fact that I wanted to do that. And it didn't work out. So, Azera, focus on the sim, focus on the quality of the trades. That's what really should be mattering there. And that's why I want to take this Netflix trade. I love the spready tickers. Netflix has been up all day.
Oh, yeah.
But Netflix has had lower highs all day.
Bang.
Look at all of these closes. These are saying candle interactions at 703.80s. So I automatically was like, hey, if you get short 703s, that'll be my stop area. Why do I like 703s? I like whole dollar levels. I like that we do have this kind of chip top here around earlier. And also, what I really want is my big breakdown to 702s. But I want to see all of the kind of steam run out of this ahead of time. As you can see here, I did try to add to the position at 702.50s because that was that level we had a couple of closes at there as support. I was like, if we stay below there, we are really bearish. I want how much of the smoke? All of it. I want Netflix to be on all my watch lists. Also, shout out to Netflix originals. I don't know. I haven't seen those in a while. I don't even have Netflix right now. But NFLX, shout out to Netflix as well. Shout out to Obi, who you might remember is now wanted for kidnapping Trenda. Oh, boy.
I think I'm not going to report that on him, though.
Yeah, I think you're going to, thank him under the table. We'll find out you paid him off to take Trenda. But, yeah,
Wow.
I'll feel really good about this position if we get into the 702s here. Again, I'm risking 80 cents. I am already, 1-to-1 risk to reward. But what I want is 700s. Now, is that a bit of an arbitrary level? Perhaps. It's where VWAP is. It's where the whole dollar is. But sometimes these stocks, if they give, they give. We are $1.50 in sim money here on NFLX. This is what confidence is about. This is what confidence is about. This is why I went back in the sim, and I need to remember that because I went back because I wanted to take advantage of opportunities. We're going to get a order set here for just above 700. This is 700. It's a spready ticker. We'll give it 21s because it's me. So we're going to get half the position out here. If we get to $700.21, that's where we'll be getting half this position out. Look at these dark red, I guess dark purplish prints. I like that. I like what we see here. If we come back to 702s, I'll get out here. I'll take $1 in the money. I risked 80 cents, so that's more than a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I'm cool with that. Let's keep going over here. But guys, remember, get in that chat if you want to vote. Exclamation point, join space, $, that ticker. Bit of trying to climb a little bit on the bid here. So I'm watching, we got spread watch there. I know I said that accidentally yesterday, but I'm gonna own it. Because what's life with it, Whimsy Street? You have to laugh at yourself.
There is nothing, Adara.
I agree. What's the implied move for Affirm, says JJJ. So Affirm doesn't report until tomorrow. The implied moves often change. As you head into earnings, so this might not stay what it is, but I can definitely find it for you. I can see, shout out to Market Chameleon. We're not sponsored by them, but they give you some good implied moves there for earnings. The implied move for Affirm as of today is going to be Oh, wait, it will not let me log in. Let me see what's happening here. Yes, the implied move for Affirm earnings, again, they don't report till tomorrow, so this could change. But as of today, what I'm seeing is the implied move for AFRM is going to be, if it will show me, I'm seeing 14.9%. So that's a decent little chunky move for Affirm. Let's see what Affirm's doing right now. Up about 1%. Affirm, did you know, was like one of the top gainers of last year for like bigger tech companies above $5 bill market cap. So like, yeah, shout out to Affirm. Let's see though what they do. Oh, wow, Affirm breaking that downtrend. We had lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low. Look at this beautiful bullish candle. We make it $23. We shoot up. That is higher highs. That is higher lows. That is a great look here for A to the F to the R to the M. Now we are struggling a little bit with that 33 level. Let's see if we can come back to that pretty key resistance level of 33.50. See what that gives us on Affirm. That's my look on Affirm as we head into earnings. What a day it has been over here on these markets. Hi, Trenda. Yeah, I guess you were kidnapped by Obi, Trenda. So we miss you lots. That was the most random cameo I've ever seen on this show. I love just the hoodie coming in with the sunglasses, taking a turtle, and walking out. Okay, yeah, I know, guys. The jokes are, I guess spread watch was not the word I should have been using there. Instead of my TED Talk.
I didn't say nothing.
I know, I'm seeing some comments in the chat. Yeah. Instead of TED Talk, I'll call it Spread Talk. Also, Obi's making another cameo here with Trenda. How is she doing? Oh, no, it's a disembodied hand. I apologize.
Yes.
Also, we're $2 in the sim money on Netflix. Thank you, Miguel Lopez, for the shout out. I do appreciate that. Looks like we're actually going to get our first peak order here at $700.20.
Bang.
Oh my gosh, Sharif. I need to trade in the sim more often. I definitely need to get those sea legs hanging out in these markets. But trading is so fun no matter how you're trading.
And that's a very, very good trade. It was a nice breakdown level. Your beak order is sound based on VWAP, everything. Check. Great trade there, Dara.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
All right. While you were printing $2 on Netflix, I printed 20 cents on NVIDIA. So it dipped in. I'm like, this is fantastic. This is a nice little bounce off the 20 exponential on the 5, and I saw all the buying come in there. Punch long. In fact, I didn't even get the price I wanted. I wanted it in the 50s, but that seems to be always the case. We take 25 pennies again. I'm 2 for 3. No, that's not even fair. I'm 2.5 for 3 because I wet my beak on this one and I got stopped out for the remaining amount. Very positive on NVIDIA today. Very happy with the way I traded it. It's very directional. I would have liked to have bigger trades. That's kind of my problem though. Not sizing up when the opportunity warrants. Now I'm all eyes and ears at this 129 level because we've had a lot of issues with 129 the day. 128.99 is the high. Now, if we reject off that level and make a new 5-minute candle to make a new low below the 20 exponential, again, below the 20 exponential, it's going to have to breach it. I'll get short. Otherwise, breaches 129, uses it as support. I'll get long on there too. I have no issue either way. Here we go. 129 again, incoming. Behooves us to look at the book as we inch closer to that 129 level to see what kind of size is standing in our way, as well as how much size is moving up with us on the bid. It's not just about the size on the ask that will prevent us from moving or ascending, but to prevent us from dropping, we need size to move up with us. So you need to be looking at the book on the left side, Ram, and to see if there's big boy size weaseling its way up the price ladder as the price moves up. And here we go again. Just a whole bunch of buying came in there, but there seems to also be resting sell orders in and around 129 because it just can't break on the day. Here we go. Now we're getting our first look about the size waiting for us at 129. I submit to you there's about 4,000 to 5,000 lots, not shares, lots at that 129 level. That may not be enough to prevent us from going up because guess what? NVIDIA's done 208 million shares on the day. That 5,000 lots means bupkis to NVIDIA at these levels, but it could prevent us from ascending momentarily. We'll have to wait and see exactly what we get today. But NVIDIA at day's highs, looking to take out the high, but it's moving independently here because NVIDIA is at high and no other Mag 7 is at the high. So NVIDIA is certainly marching to the beat of its own drum right now. You've got the likes of Tesla, Apple, Amazon, even Meta, as well as Microsoft, even though it tried to go green, even Google moving down, not so NVIDIA. It is independently strong. And there's the 129 touch. officially the high of day as we got a 129 print. Still though, that big boy size at the whole dollar level, unable to get breached for now, Adara. So we're gonna have to watch and wait to see exactly what happens here. I have no trade until we decide what is it gonna be. Is it gonna be up or down? Packing my patience.
Yeah, there's some kind of buyer. Shout out to Ted Sarandos and crew. The way the book is moving here as we get closer and closer to 700s is fascinating to me. I almost got spooked out. To be clear, very happy. I got my beak order exactly where I wanted to. Oh, I accidentally closed my chart. That is not what I wanted to do. At $700.21. That is exactly what I wanted on Netflix. I did not compromise on that. But I will say I did get a little bit like, what is happening? Because we slam here into the bid and then we push right back up into the ask. We get to ask. We get to $701.70. I'm like, huh? What's going on? Then we get my fill. We push back down to get my fill. All good. But now we're trying to push back to 701s. I said this in the chat. If we get above 701s, I'll get out there. I'll take a $2 winner with that. Based on my exit rules, with a lot of these spreadier stocks, I'll basically give it to whole dollar levels once you kind of have fulfilled the risk to reward ratio. So I'm definitely cool with that. And I definitely want to work on my exit rules as well. I know some people use prior bar high. I know Obi talks a lot about the prior bar high. Shout out to Trenda's kidnapper. No, I'm joking. But you got it, or I guess Sharif's hero in that way because he's Trenda's kidnapper. But yeah, you got to figure out what works for you. I'm trying to learn a little bit every day, and that's why I don't mind being in the sim. I'm actually cool with staying in the sim here for the rest of the week if it means that I'm taking trades that make more sense and that I'm being responsible with my trading. Also, guys, speaking of responsibility, you have 1 minute left to be part of this awesome community here. I mean, you're already part of this awesome community, but if you like and subscribe, and if you've hit that subscriber button, then you get involved in this voting. You have 1 minute left to vote, exclamation point, join, space, $sign,
Bang.
get involved. Stop
129 breach, Adara.
Oh, what is it?
129 breach.
129
there it
breach
is.
for NVIDIA. What do you think? How do you think NVIDIA is going to react to earnings, Sharif?
Look, I'm just taking a guess, and that's all that it is, Adara. I think they beat. I think they beat aggressively. My only question is the guide strong enough, Adara?
The issue.
That's the thing. So you and I are on the same page on that. I think the guide really here is instructive to how we trade. But I mean, I think we're still building out the infrastructure, guys. And there is this thinking you can feel amongst these Mag 7 hyperscalers that it's better to overinvest currently, overspend, than it is to underspend and be left behind. That's kind of the feeling I get, because we may not be using all this in the same way that we didn't use all the fiber optics that were laid by Cisco in the later part of the 90s, early part of the 2000s, until way, way, way later. So
we forgot about all the fiber optic thing with Cisco. That was their.
Exactly. That was like the people were drawing comparisons between that over and over and over because of the price action. And, you know, the internet was new, AI is new, the whole thing.
Their roles in the zeitgeist. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly, right? So shout out. NVIDIA's just rocketing up here, guys. 129.20. This thing is very strong. It is now almost 1/5% on the day right now. Zigging and zagging right now. Let's see if it defends 129 today. It got into 129.20. That isn't a whole lot away from a key area of technical resistance. You're doing it to me again, aren't you?
What's she doing?
She always does that. She's such a... she's playing innocent. Yeah, so 129.20 is not that much of a move beyond the technical resistance level of 129. So we'll have to wait and see if this one can continue here, Adara. But I'm going to send it to you as I'm just going to set up something.
Yeah, no worries. Definitely, like, you let me know if you want to say anything because I know you've got those segments coming on there. So yeah. Shout out to Sharif for killing it with the lessons, for killing it with his green screen segment, which you can catch in 9 minutes, and you can vote for every single day in the midday up until 1:50. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls. You do everything, and I mean both the Bears and the Bulls were fighting in this year market. So interesting look for Bears, interesting look for Bulls, and shout out to Bears versus Bulls for everything you do. Now, Netflix. If we break 700, I feel like blood will be shed. Can we break 700 is another story. I have not gotten out of this stock, to be clear, because I am not getting out till I see 701 retest. We've not retested 701, so I'm not leaving. The highest we got here was $700.92 on the bid. And as I say that, the market's like, oh, Adara, you want a 701 test? I was like, I mean, I didn't want one. But as we push back above 701 here, that's pretty aggressive selling or buying. I'm cool getting out here. Let's be done here. Took $1.70 on half the position, took $2.80 in the second half. It was a sim trade, but like I said, I definitely am happy I got back in the sim because I think it's just reminding me type of trader I am. I like trading these spready stocks. I feel like I have a decent handle on them, but I feel like I need to just trade a couple more in the sim, get my sea legs back, and then I can be the Little Mermaid once again, part of your world in live trading. Netflix lineup has improved a lot, says JD roaring on 20s. Yeah, I think definitely Netflix, they're trying to get more content. I think their whole rule, they have a new rule that apparently you can't have more than I think it was something was saying 4 seasons of an original show, which makes sense because then you don't have all of that proliferation, all these shows going on for years and years and years. So that makes sense. Netflix gets me out of that 701 false breakout, but still happy with the trade. Happy with what happened here. Someone wants to join AVGO, but unfortunately, Stevenson Etienne, we're no longer doing voting for this hour, but I'll look at AVGO for you.
Sure.
Because AVGO reports next week, Stevenson Etienne. So, wow. You get what might be my last pushback of the day, AVGO. Holy cow. Sean, can you push the cow button? I guess he's listening to music. The cow button. Thank you.
Hey. It's a cash cow, Darren.
The cash cow. Oh, I should have said the cash cow. No, I just said holy cow, so I thought that was pretty apt. Plus, I love that button. But look at these.
NVIDIA?
The bounce at 159. Then we get these wicks down here. We close at 159.30. Higher highs, higher lows, beautiful pullback. As I speak, AVGO is like Adara. I'm making new highs of days. So that is a broad move to the upside here for broad calm. Congratulations to Tony Price. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a sim trade, to be clear, but I'm really, really happy with what I did on that Netflix because I did make the trades. Whether or not the trade's in the sim, whether it's real money or fake, I made the trades. I had the process to make the trades. I had the confidence to make the trades. I will be journaling about said trades, and I had conviction.
Get it.
Use that button this much today. Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left.
All right, guys, I'm going to weasel my way on over to the green screen. Thank you for those who voted. If you didn't vote today and you want to vote tomorrow, make sure that you vote between 11 and 1:50 because the cutoff time is about 10 minutes before the afternoon rundown. I'll see everybody shortly at the green screen.
Yeah. Shout out there. Thank you so much, Sharif, again, for everything you do. He will be weaseling his way over, and you will see him there gesticulating wildly. What other tickers are people looking at before we head at the end of the day? Because I'm likely not going to take any trades unless I'm trying to see if any of my things I'm looking at are setting up. Slightly higher high here for McKeel. Look at SMCI for anyone trading super micro. I had, a couple. I traded this once here. I was happy with how I managed the short. I tried to manage that, take that 544 short when we broke that. Did not work out, but managed it appropriately here. SMCI, though, what a double top at 556. Also, it's crazy to think this was actually a name that pushed way lower here on that short report, now acting like the short report was basically nothing. We still do have higher lows, and honestly, dare I say, maybe if you want to pun, look at this bull flag. This is really bull flaggish to me. I like the higher lows. To be clear, we could consolidate downwards. I think if we break 544, RIP Smicky. But I like these higher lows here. I think it's a good look here. Sorry, guys, I'm just really energetic because I do love these markets. David Kyle, I honestly don't drink much coffee. I am just really excited about market time. Okay, DJ Sean Mellon. Shout out to, we got Sean Katina. We also have DJ Sean Mellon in the chat wanting to know about CrowdStrike. This is a name CrowdStrike, this is beautiful. Look at that VWAP bounce here. Not exactly in line, but near where we had some of these rejections earlier. Bit of a flat top break in the pre, push up, double top, we push lower, but CrowdStrike recovers nicely, bouncing off that 265.20, higher highs, higher lows. Beautiful look here for the crowd. Let's take a look here as well on the daily chart for crowd, because we know we had a lot of shorts. We had a lot of shorts crowding into crowd when we had that outage. But there are some levels here that are interesting. I think, should crowd beat, I would like to see what we do at 282s. 282s, clearly a big old level of support here. We had a bit of interaction with this as we had our canoeing to the downside, but the other level for me is that 270s. 270s was another level we waffled in for a couple of days when we had that initial outage before more bad news befell this company, and it befell even further to the downside. So I think that's an interesting level for CrowdStrike. This recovery is great. I like this bottoming tail candle that we're making today, but I think we need to reclaim that 273. Then I think we need to reclaim that 281, especially because that is kind of a bearish topping tail candle, and that topping tail candle didn't even get us near 281s, 282s. Got us to like 278. So what else are we looking at here? SPY, some people want to see. Yeah, I a little disappointed. I had a SPY long here. I was long the SPY in the sim, not in the sim. I'm in the sim now. I was long the SPY live at 560 70s, and then got out of 50s. And that was basically the lowest we got here on the SPY. That was like right here. Continuing to push higher. Learned a lot from these attempts here at the short on the SPY. Then again, didn't give myself enough risk when I tried to go long. Beautiful look on the SPY. I think that SPY 560.70 level, still a key level. I liked it because it was a really interesting one in the book. Once we broke above it, it was like, once we broke above it decisively, it was a really nice look. Now, once we reclaim it, you can see how much higher we push. So that to me is a great look on the SPY. Also, I did not draw this level today. So clearly this was a level for me at some point, this 560.70 on that SPY, or 561.70. But I do like that we have higher highs, higher lows. I like that we're trying to push above the highest level into which we wicked, which is 562.26. The level, though, I would caution everybody to be aware of in the SPY. Take that as you will. I do trade a decent amount of SPY, so I find this level here, that 562.50, to be really interesting. That was an area that we double topped in. We've made on the 15. We made the first top here on Thursday. We made the second top on Friday. We closed just below it. That 562.50, obviously we've been above it since we were above it yesterday, but 562.50, the point I'm trying to make is there's some kind of karmic retribution, there's some kind of candle action at that level that I think it is worth being aware of here. What are other things people are looking at? Vox, says Scott Edwards. I am not Sharif, shout out to Sharif, like small cap trader extraordinaire there. I am not the small cap master, but Vox is an interesting one. Vox, also worth noting, guys, the fundamentals on this, we don't usually talk fundamentals, but I think they're worth it given the Vox catalyst. The catalyst on Vox is that they have strategic alternatives being discussed, including maybe selling the company or selling some of its segments. They also had this Gen X take some of a bit of a position in the company, about 3.5 million shares, if I remember correctly. So that's the catalyst there on Vox. What a rounded bottom. This is a beautiful look here. Bit of a double bottom and a rounded bottom, some confluence there at that 43 or $4.35 level. Then we come into a bit of symmetry here at that 455, pushing higher. Beautiful look. Honestly, basically every area we used as support on the way down or resistance, we kind of use as support, resistance the way up. This is a great look here for me for VOXX. I think if we can continue to bounce off that 510 level, I think good look here for V to the O to the X to X. But right now, we're gonna have to see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for chilling here with me. This has been such a fun day in these markets. Hope you guys agree. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time on the same bat channel. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls. Shout out to what everyone does here. Everybody, great times. Sharif, green screen. Let's go.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk